Basketball was originated in America in 1891 and has taken tremendous strides. Careful study of the basic skills involved and good teaching of basketball fundamentals have been largely responsible for its great popularity. One of the most important of these fundamentals is ball handling. It involves catching the ball, holding it, passing, faking, feinting, dribbling the ball, and shooting. This planned offensive action combines all these skills and shows the effectiveness of good ball handling. The man with the ball, number 8, fakes to number 34, but passes to number 12. 8 cuts by him, screening the play. 12 bounces the ball once and passes to 34, who fakes a return pass, but instead gives the ball to number 8 for a shot at the basket.
Welcome to Goat James Kingdom. Welcome. I am Ajani the Exposer, and y'all have now been exposed by the Exposer. I appreciate it. And enjoy. I am called Ajani the Exposer. You guys are being exposed today.
Your opinion, I guess.
Move on from it. It was the 90s. That's it, bro. Move on from that. You don't know history. You don't know basketball. You just told me I'm stupid. But look how stupid you look because you don't know
I know all this
basketball. You don't know history. You don't know jamming. You don't know schematics. You don't know coaching. You don't know scouting. You don't know drafting. You don't know nothing but that Michael Jordan's great because the media said you that. So told you to say that. I know that is recorded, and you are officially being exposed by the Exposer, and you're gonna sit there like a man and take this just like Buddy did 2 weeks ago.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Hey, get your numbers out. I had to get my numbers out.
Here's Ajani.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm your host, Ajani the Exposer, one half of the Goat James Kingdom channel. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to become a member of the channel. As you guys know, we're doing big things. Shout out to everybody who is already a subscriber to the channel. Shout out to all the Goat James Kingdom members. I see all you fellas. Thank you so much for supporting what we do here on a Friday night. Also, you know, we're going live on our Facebook group, so shout out to everybody in our Facebook group, and also live on our IG account. So shout out to everybody who follows us on those 2 platforms. Not to mention, we are also live on FYF Sports Debate. Shout out to Lamont and the fellas over there. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ajani the Exposer. I come every Friday night to talk the game of basketball, and as you can see, tonight's program is about the history of the game. Not as far as the stats and the numbers and the record books. No, this is not what we're going to be talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be discussing the actual play style, the way the game is played, the way the game was made to be played. We all know that there's a lot of nuances in the game of basketball, but there's also a lot of false narratives that go around about how the game was or how it's supposed to be played, and referee calls and things of that nature. And as you can see, I showed y'all in the intro a 1940s. This is from 1946, what I just showed you. A basketball training video, which at that time, basketball was more of an amateur sport than it was a professional sport in the USA, but it was gaining popularity. The NBA was right around the corner, right? So we're gonna look at the play style. We're gonna look at how the game was played, how the referees called the game from the game's inception all the way to the time that we all know the game of basketball. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ajani the Exposer. This is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. This is the GOAT James Kingdom platform. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to become a member of the channel. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, GOAT James Kingdom does it big at all times. All you got to do is go straight to our channel, hit that join tab. You'll see all the different perks and all the different tiers for becoming a member of the GOAT James Kingdom platform. That'll be wonderful if you can support what Brandon and I do. As you see, we're going to continue to do great things and talk the game of basketball. So again, like I said, tonight's program is going to be purely on eye tests. We're going to see how many of y'all can truly see the game of basketball like y'all claim y'all do, right? Because when we're us LeBron fans, when we start talking about eye tests and we start talking about how we see the game, all of a sudden we have to prove it with the stats. We have to prove it with numbers. We have to prove it with things that are quote unquote tangible, or we're just fanboys or just lying in general. That's how they're going to throw it upon us, because we're sitting here just talking the game as how we see it. But how much of y'all really know the game of basketball as it evolved, as it gotten through the years? What were the rules? I've always told you guys the game of basketball was never a physical sport. It was a game of finesse. It was a game of speed and agility. It was not a game of contact and physicality. That didn't exist. That's not how the sport was invented, right? And again, we're going to see it. As you guys can see, when you was watching that video in the 40s, there was a lot of ball movement. There was a lot of freedom of movement, the quote unquote freedom of movement, right? That's what you hear. Right? These are all the things that we hear when we're talking about how the game is supposed to be played or not supposed to be played. So we're going to have a fun night tonight. We're just going to watch the games with our eyes. We're going to pay attention to what we see. And I see some of y'all in the comments. Shout out to everybody here. Appreciate you, fellas. He said the dead ball era. I don't know what the dead ball era is. We'll find out, though. We'll find out for sure. But again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership. Supporting what Brandon and I do won't hurt your pockets. It'll actually help your basketball experience, as Brandon and I will continue in 2025 to show you guys how great the game of basketball is, not to mention how great LeBron James is as a basketball player. But let's get to our first footage. Now, this is what I want to show y'all, okay? Let's get to our first footage. I'm going to take y'all back, all right? Like I always do in GOAT James Kingdom. Come take this journey with me, all right? So let's go ahead and look at this right here. This is the 1950s basketball in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. Again, don't look at the aesthetics of the game. Don't look at the skill level of the game. Don't look at the athleticism and talent. Look at the play style. Look how they are playing. Look at the freedom of movement. You don't see the physicality. You don't see people jostling and fighting for position. You don't see guys wrestling, holding, elbowing. You don't see none of this. You see freedom of movement. Guys are able to move. The defenders are able to defend. And as you can see, guys are running up and down the basketball court. Not very skilled. Not too pretty. But again, you don't see guys pushing it. And as you can see, when it gets too physical, the ref calls a foul. Because the game of basketball is about being fast. Here we go. Thought he was going to shoot it, but no. Look, again, you don't see anybody using their hands. You don't see guys using their forearms. You see guys taking one-legged free throw shots. Underhand free throw shots, right? But again, you don't see guys. Let's look at the postmen. Let's look at the big men. Let's see how they're jostling for position. Let's see how they're playing defense. Where's the hand checking that y'all say always existed in basketball? Because again, hand checking was always a foul. Look, you do that, eventually they call a foul. That's a foul. Freedom of movement. You see the ball being moved. You see players running around. You don't see elbows. You don't see none of that stuff. You don't see that kind of stuff. Now, that's 1950s basketball. I got more. You know me. I always got more. Let's watch some more of this. This is kind of fun. I like this. Again, I am a historian in general in life. I love to read about history. I love archaeology. I love anthropology. I love all of this stuff. I love learning about the past. So watching this to me is always curious to me. I watch it in curiosity. I watch it in awe. I don't watch it to criticize it. I just watch it to see how the game is played. And as you can see, the game is played very fluid. It's a lot of motion, a lot of action. It's not that athletic. It's not that skilled compared to what we're used to seeing. But again, we're talking about the actual play style. Let's look at how physical the game is. You guys say the game has always been physical. So that means back here, there should be no rules set back here to stop anybody from doing anything physical in the game. Let's see if they're really physical. And as you can see, look how they're playing defense. Look, that big man is not using his forearms. He's using his body. They call the foul because he obviously fouled the man. As you can see, look. Oh, look at that. The one-legged three-pointer. Look, they were taking one-legged three-pointers back then as well. Look at this. Push it up the floor. Look, try to get ahead of the defense. Keep the ball movement. Look, see, look. Look, you don't see the defense. Look at where's the physicality? Boom. Bad pass, interception. They run the ball up the floor. Look, you try to steal it. I mean, look, again, look how they're playing defense. They're keeping their hands wide. They're keeping their hands up or wide. Their hands are not in front of them. Look, nobody is jostling for position. Nobody's pushing. Nobody's shoving. Nobody's using their body. Nobody's basically forcing anybody out of their position, which is an illegal rule in basketball. You cannot forcefully move somebody with your body in any part of your body, whether it's your arms, whether it's your forearms, whether it's your hips, your shoulders. You can't forcefully move anybody out. So as you can see, they're moving fluid. This is fluid basketball. Get that out of here. You see that? He sent that too. That was a clean block right there. That was 1950s basketball. And I knew you would like this, Rex. I knew you would like this. I knew you would like this. I knew you would like this. But that was 1950. There you go. 1950 basketball was played the right way. Now, again, I'm not going to say it was played the right way. It was played the way the game was made. The rules were very easy back then. The NBA, in fact, Naismith started the NBA, or not the NBA, but started basketball with 13 rules. It was just 13 rules in the game of basketball. That's how he started the game, Dr. Naismith. So as the game evolved, obviously, like you said, again, one of the rules of basketball, you couldn't even dribble. Dribbling was a rule that eventually came into basketball, where now you could actually dribble the ball. That's why ball movement is always important. That's why when you watch the video that we talked about, the intro video, you hear them talk about that. You hear them talk about ball movement, ball handling. The man said ball handling wasn't dribbling. He said ball handling was feinting, faking, passing, right? Then he said dribbling and shooting the ball. So back then, ball handling wasn't about dribbling. It was about basically just handling the ball and keeping the ball moving within the offense. But that was how the game was played. That's how the game of basketball was played. And it didn't change as time went on. Because if we go to the 60s and we go to the 1963 finals, I'll show you how you couldn't be physical. You couldn't play defense with your hands all out like this. You had to play defense with your hands wide, because a defensive man is allowed to his position. You're not allowed to move him as an offensive player with your body or anything. So that's why you was always told to keep your hands wide, because you have to go around me. And going around me, if I keep my hands wide, that gives me more space to cover ground. That's why you have to sit in a chair and widen your space when you play defense, because you have to go around the defender. You can't go through the defender. And as a defender, I can't push you, shove you, or do none of that. I can't do none of this stuff. This is illegal. This has always been illegal in basketball. You don't believe me? Let me show it to you. So as we're watching the game right here, this is the 1960s NBA Finals. We're going to see the same thing, freedom of movement. Look, nobody's putting no hands on nobody. Nobody's using their forearms. Look, Jerry West with the pump fake, up and under, wet, right? But let's watch what happens when you try to get physical on somebody who has the ball, and you try to go out here and put your hands on somebody. What happens? Boop, they call a foul. Why? That's matter of fact, and today's NBA, they use that call so that you can call a foul, a take foul, basically. Look, boom, he comes in there, and that's a foul because he has his hand on him like that. That's a foul. That was a foul back then. Anybody who played basketball back then can tell you that. Anybody who watched the game back then can tell you that you're not supposed to do those things. That's not good defense. That's bad defense. But the reason you were not allowed to do that was because you was allowed to have your position as a defender. So the offensive player within themselves were not allowed to move you out of your position in any forceful way either. So that's why you didn't need to hand check, because all you had to do was stay in front of your defender or stay in between your defender and the basket, and you would be playing good defense. And if the offensive player decided to move you out of your spot because you were in his way, or he was trying to get around you, but you were still there, they will call an offensive foul. You don't believe me? I'll show it to you. This is the same game, 1963 NBA Finals, Boston Celtics versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And let's, again, look at the play style, ladies and gentlemen. We're not looking at the aesthetics or the skill or talent level. We're just looking to see, look how they play. Look the freedom of movement. Look at the space that players are allowed to move with. Players are not using their hands. They're not using their elbows, right? Because all I have to do is stay in front of you. And if you decide to do this, that's an offensive foul, ladies and gentlemen. They call offensive foul on Sam Jones. Let's watch this again. Because that defender is allowed to his space, and Sam Jones has to go around him, not through him. And because he went through the defender, that was a foul, an offensive foul. So even on offense, you were not allowed to move, push and shove, fight for position, jostle for your spot in the post. All of that was illegal. Because that was not how the game of basketball was intended to play. You're allowed to stand at your position. The defender can't move you out of your position, and you can't move the defender out of his position. So if I'm standing behind you and you're standing in a spot, you can't push me back. You can't like we like to say, post up and box somebody down and back somebody up. You weren't allowed to do this. Again, these are the rules of the game of basketball. It's always been a rule. It's still to this day, those rules still exist. They just modify rules. Shout out to Rex who came into the show a couple of weeks ago and explained how they just modify things. They never really take rules out. They just say, okay, we're just going to modify it. We're going to change it. They're going to tell the referees to interpret it in another fashion, another form, another way. And obviously they do add rules. So there's certain rules that get, I guess, changed because of rules that are added and things of that nature, but they don't necessarily remove rules. So as we get along and we start watching the game of basketball, right? And we get to again, I just showed you 40s basketball. I showed you 50s basketball. I just showed you some 60s basketball. You see the play style was still the same. Fluid motion, freedom of movement, guys moving the ball, defenders keeping their arms wide, their defensive stance wide, hands up, active hands, like I always tell you, and active feet. Guys are just dribbling around, passing the ball, trying to find an open shot. We see guys from the 50s and taking easily 25-footers, one-legged 25-footers on top of that, right? So we're watching the game of basketball as it was and how it was created for us to see it as it was. But did it change? When did it change? It wasn't any possibility of change, and we all know it had to change. Well, let's go to the 70s. I'll take you to 1972 finals. Right here, Los Angeles Lakers versus the New York Knickerbockers. And we have the same things. You don't see the physicality. Look, Wilt Chamberlain is not allowed to back Jerry Lucas down. This is why Wilt is just standing there. Because if he does that, it's an offensive foul. And that's why Jerry Lucas could just stand there and don't have to put his arms on Wilt Chamberlain, because Wilt Chamberlain can't forcefully move him out of the way. And as you can see, guys are just looking to get their shots. That's how the game of basketball was. It wasn't a game of physicality. It was a game of finesse. It was a game of ball movement, agility, speed. See, look, Wilt Chamberlain's not using his hands. Get down and widen his space. Look, widen your space. See, look, leave somebody open, they take the jumper. Bam, hits it. This is how basketball was played. Again, Wilt Chamberlain could not just move and barrage people out the way to get to his spot. That was called a foul. See? Here we go. You put you put your hands out, that's a foul. That's how the game was played. Striking anybody, hitting anybody, all of these things were considered fouls. The game is a game of finesse. Wilt Chamberlain was known for not wanting to foul out of games because it was very easy to get an offensive foul called on Wilt Chamberlain if he was too aggressive on you. Players learned to flop. They were flopped back then. It was no difference. It was completely no difference. Again, let's continue and watch this. I got more. 1972 footage. Again, look how they're playing defense. Look how they're playing basketball. There it is here. Same thing. Wilt Chamberlain doing the same thing. They're running the same play, actually. Look, the same action. They get it back to Walt. Look how they play defense. Look, leave the man open. He misses it. They run. But watch how they play defense. Watch how they play offense. You don't see guys fighting and jostling for positions, wrestling to get to a spot. Look at Wilt Chamberlain. Look at the big man. That's it. Boom. Play defense. Block his shot. Keep it moving. Now they're running and gunning because they're trying to get ahead of the defense. Because if you can get ahead of the defense, you can score just like that. Because all the defense has to do is set themselves up, and it's hard to score because you have to go around your defender. You can't run through them. He doesn't have to worry about putting his hands on you because you can't run through him. He doesn't have to be physical with you. He just has to stay in front of you. He has to use his speed and agility to stay in front of you. Look at Wilt Chamberlain. Look at Jerry Lucas. Jerry Lucas does not have to physically keep Wilt Chamberlain from getting anywhere. He just has to be in a good position. The game of basketball is about position. Possessions and positions. Your angles, where you're at. That's how the game of basketball has always been, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the 70s. This is the finals. This is competition at its highest for basketball. We're in the NBA finals. We're not, I mean, it doesn't change. Let's watch some more of this. Let's continue to watch this. Look at this. Look at Wilt Chamberlain. He cannot back down Jerry Lucas here. But watch what Wilt Chamberlain does. Watch what he does to get his basket. He moves to the side, and then he does his little finger roll over the man. Because he's not allowed to back Jerry Lucas out of the way. Jerry Lucas does not have to forcefully stand there. He just has to be in position. That's why Wilt Chamberlain said he would average 70 in the 90s, because he was like, if y'all let me just muscle my way through everything, I would destroy it. Look at the foul they called here, ladies and gentlemen. Remember I told you about the offensive player is not allowed to move the defender out of position. Watch the guy running around the double screen and cutting to the basket. Watch what he does to the Laker player. They call the offensive foul. That's the offensive foul there, because he ran through the defender. The defender's allowed to his position. You're not allowed to push and shove somebody out the way or run through them in any kind of fashion. The game was never invented to be that way. Never. It was never made that way. The game was made to be a game of finesse, a game of agility and speed, skill. That's what basketball was always about. But you guys don't know this because you guys are somebody and tell us this era sucked. These guys suck. You look at this and say, oh, it sucked. It's a horrible era. It's not a horrible era. It's the game of basketball. That's how the game was played. That's how they played the game of basketball. Again, that's why Wilt Chamberlain said he would average all kind of crazy points. Because if we go to the finals, the next finals here, Wilt Chamberlain does this move, and they call an offensive foul on Wilt Chamberlain. So it's a little grainy because this is 1973. But this is the 1973 finals, Nixon and the Lakers. Watch what happens. Here go. Wilt gets the ball in the post. Watch what Wilt does. Watch the move he makes. They call the offensive foul there on Wilt Chamberlain. Just that slight forceful move by Wilt Chamberlain right here. Look, let's look at it again. Look, he does the normal drop dribble step up and under, and because the defender's there and he's not allowed to move the defender out of his spot, they call the offensive foul on Wilt Chamberlain. Watch it again. Watch what Wilt Chamberlain does. This is a normal move. We've seen Shaq, we've seen Akeem, Patrick Ewing, Alonzo. All these big centers do this move and never get in trouble for it. I've seen LeBron do it and never get called for an offensive foul. So when did the game get all this crazy stuff about being physical and all this other crazy stuff? I showed y'all over 40 years or close to 30, 40 years of NBA basketball or basketball in general. I showed you back all the way to the 40s where you see guys moving freely, freedom of movement. Guys are just moving the ball. There's no hand checking. There's no forearms. There's no elbows. There's no jostling for position. There's no fighting for a spot. There's no looking to get my position in the low post. There's none of that. It's just clean basketball, ball movement, good action, good screen setting. And hopefully you make a good shot. If not, you get the rebound, put it back in. If not, you keep the ball moving. They're not looking to just get the ball into the post. We've watched several teams play. They're not looking to just get the ball into the post. They're actually shooting the ball from the perimeter. But people are complaining about today's NBA that all they do is shoot from the outside. I mean, that was basketball. That's how basketball always been. But let's take it further. Let's take it further. Again, let's take a journey with me. Like I said, I want y'all to take this journey with me, take this ride with me. Shout out to you, Mar. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. That is a wonderful thing. Real hoops history right here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if this is a real Hoopers show. This is honestly, this is not for none of the Zesty Jeffries for a fact. This is not for none of the Zesty Jeffries. This is not for nobody who thinks that only the 90s and 80s basketball was great basketball or the 2000s was the only great basketball. This is for real people who like basketball. These are for real hoopers who really understand the game and who are truly invested and wanting to learn more about the game. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for supporting what we do here in Goat James Kingdom. Here we go. Rex is in the building. Shout out to Rex, man. Rex is always bringing me great information. He said, these days also demonstrates why Wells Unseld was so effective. Even Wilt couldn't move him out the position. Exactly. Even Jerry Lucas. You see, Jerry Lucas cannot keep Wilt Chamberlain from getting to the basket if Wilt Chamberlain decided to back him down. But he's not allowed to back down Jerry Lucas. He's not allowed to back him down. As long as they stand their ground, he has to find a way to go around him. That's why he invented the fadeaway jump shot. And that's why he invented that little hook, not little hook, but that little finger roll he used to do, where he's just finger roll over the defender with his right hand coming over his right shoulder. Now, he even used to try it with his left hand as well. And then that's why people like Kareem invented the hook shot, right? Because the hook shot allows you to actually take that shot over your defender because you really couldn't get around him. And you're going to always watch, whenever you watch Wilt Chamberlain film, you're going to watch Wilt Chamberlain dribble side to side. He's never going to dribble backwards. He's always going to dribble from one side to that side, try to find a way to get the man out of position so that he can make his move. That's how the game was played. That's why he said he would average 70 in the 90s, because he said if you let me do those type of things, it would be, I would dominate. Like he said, I would dominate. Yeah, they had fights in the 40s and 50s as well. You're right about that. Of course they did. It's a competitive sport. And these are grown men. These are grown athletes. These are strong men. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, of course they had the fights. But see, the fights was not what made basketball physical. If you thought basketball was physical because they're able to fight or they were getting into fights, that's nonsense. Today's NBA players would love to throw hands at one another. But if I punch you or if I get into a scuffle on the court, it's a suspension. I lose a lot more money. These guys weren't losing that much money. Again, doing my research on tonight's program, I was looking up NBA rules, and there was different fines that were added throughout the decades. And I was watching how the dollars were going up. The early fines were like $15, $20. I mean, the $50 fines, man. You know, in the 80s, they would fine these dudes like $250, even though back then $250 was a lot of money in the 80s. I'm not gonna act like it wasn't a lot of money, but it still wasn't. It wasn't the equivalent of what it is today. You know what I'm saying? Like what these guys are having to pay today. You know what I'm saying? So again, these are the NBA finals we're watching. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I showed you 73 finals. I showed you 72 finals, the 63 finals. I showed you 1950s NBA basketball, which I don't know what game that was. I do know it was the New York Knicks playing, but I don't know who they were playing against. But all of these films, we all saw the same footage. Let's watch the 80s. Let's see how 80s basketball was. Because, you know, obviously the 80s is considered the beginning of the golden era of basketball. So let's watch how the 1982 NBA finals was played. So again, we're going to watch the 1982 final. These are the Lakers versus the 76ers. And early on, we see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Caldwell Jones are fighting and jostling for position, and the ref calls a foul on Caldwell Jones for his, I guess, excessive force on Kareem. But the question is, why is Kareem having to do something that Wilt Chamberlain didn't have to do? Why is Kareem fighting for position? Why is Caldwell Jones having to fight to keep his position, right? And why did the ref call a foul on Caldwell Jones if they're both fighting to jostle for a position, right? But again, let's watch the play style. Let's watch how they play. Again, a lot of outside shots, right? Guys, the ball movement. Look, boom, step into the jumper. That's Andrew Toney. Make a good shot, right? But let's watch this. This is important right here. Let's watch what happens here. Boom, boom. They call a defensive foul here on this play, ladies and gentlemen. That was a defensive foul on Andrew Toney when Magic took him to the hole. Let's watch this again in slow motion. If I'm correct, when Sam Jones did this same exact thing, they called it offensive foul. That was just 20 years difference. That was let's watch this again. Let's pay attention to what Kareem and Caldwell Jones was going through. And then let's watch Magic Johnson legitimately run through a man, and the man got called for an defensive foul, sort of an offensive foul, which we know in the 60s that would have been called as an offensive foul. But let's watch it again so that y'all can see it, and then I'm going to show you the Sam Jones play. So as we watch this again, right, here we go. They're trying to get Kareem in position. Kareem has position. He shouldn't have to fight for it. Caldwell Jones is fouling there. So that should be a foul on Caldwell Jones in the normal sense, but why are they jostling for position? Why are they letting him do this? What changed in 10 NBA seasons for this to be a part of the game now? Kareem is used to this. Kareem knows how to do this very well. This is why he was very dominant. And there goes the help defense by Dr. J. But again, when we're watching them play, we'll still see the same thing. There's not too much hand checking you see going on right now, but you see guys still fighting for position a lot more. It's still more physical. There's a lot more athleticism on the floor, so there's going to be a little bit more physical, right? And there's obviously more talent on the floor, more skilled players. But watch this right here. Look what Magic does. They called a defensive foul on Andrew Toney there. That was a defensive foul instead of an offensive foul, which 20 years earlier, it was considered an offensive foul because you're not allowed to physically move your man out of his position. He's allowed to have his position as a defender. So if we go back to the 1963 NBA Finals, right? We'll get to the play and you'll see Sam Jones gets called for an offensive foul doing the same thing Magic Johnson did. But as you can see here, like I said, it's the perimeter style still looks the same, right? It still looks the same. Guys are still, but there's no jostling for position. I don't see Russell and them having to do too much. But let's watch Sam Jones here. This is just like Magic. Right here, boom. They called it offensive foul. Look, offensive foul on Sam Jones. This is the same exact play Magic Johnson did. Because back then, he wasn't allowed to do that. Sam Jones wasn't allowed to have his spot. And I remember when we used to have this argument playing ball in my neighborhood about what was considered a charge or not. And people used to say, yo, a charge, you have to stand in your spot. You have to be standing still for it to be a charge. If you're moving, it's not a charge. It's not an offensive foul. It's a foul on you, actually. It's a blocking foul. And I was like, no. And I used to argue that because obviously when I used to read the game of basketball as a kid and just learning the game of basketball, you couldn't do that. An offensive foul was an offensive foul. You couldn't run through the man. But those were one of the rules that they obviously modified, where now you're no longer as a defender allowed to get your position. You actually have to get to your position first. You have to get in front of him, right? And you have to stand there and hold your position. If not, it's a foul on you. So they completely changed it. That's why now we see Caldwell Jones is out here having to defend his position, because if he doesn't, it's basically going to be a free basket, because they're allowing the offensive player now to fight for their position, to have their spot. They're helping the offense. So now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is allowed to jostle and fight for position. And Magic Johnson is allowed to basically fight and jostle for position while dribbling. And now it's harder for me to play defense because even if I'm in front of you and moving, you're still allowed to push me. So now they allowed hand checking. They allowed it to be a little bit more physical, right? And when did that change? When did that change? Again, let's watch Magic Johnson. And again, it's the same exact play as Sam Jones. It's the same play. It's the same play, the same offensive foul. But for Magic's era, it's considered a defensive foul. So now the defender has to figure out a way to get in front of Magic quicker for him to not get that call. So let's go to some more 80s play. Here we go again. We're gonna watch it again. Let's watch these plays. Let's watch. Look at them. Look. Now you see people fighting and jostling. Look, you see physicality. Look at this. Now you see Daryl Dawkins does the same move that Wilt Chamberlain did, but he did it more physically, right? Because he's allowed to do that now. Let's watch these guys fight and jostle for positions. Look at them. More hand checking that you can see here. You see more hands out here. Look at them. They're out here fighting and jostling. You see elbows being thrown. You see it's a more physical game all of a sudden. Here it is. They're still taking outside shots. Oh, wet that. That's Andrew Toney. He was on fire this game. But again, we're gonna look at it right here. Look, we're gonna watch. Look, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Look how Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is fighting for position. Wilt Chamberlain was not allowed to do that, ladies and gentlemen. And they called the foul on Daryl Dawkins. Why they called it on Daryl Dawkins? Because supposedly Daryl Dawkins is forcibly keeping Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from his spot. Although Daryl Dawkins is allowed to be in his position, supposedly. But they changed something. Something changed from 1973 to 1982 that allowed the game to look like this. And what changed? What was the significant difference between 1973 and 1982 for the league to change? The ABA-NBA merger. After the ABA-NBA merger and after the 1977 season, the NBA allowed for hand checking and altered the rule and said that now you can put your hands on a player or forcefully hold them with your arms or your body, as long as you were not forcefully impeding them or moving them out of their spot to a certain degree. So they basically left it up to the referee. They made it a judgment call for the referee to decide whether somebody was actually hand checking, physically fouling somebody or not, which led to more fights and led to the physicality that we see in 1982. The same way they changed the offensive foul rule to say, well, no, the defensive player doesn't have to necessarily be in front of the guy, but he has to be in position and kind of standing still for you to get that charge, right? For you to get the offensive foul. If not, it's a block foul. So now the rule, here comes a modification of a rule. It's still the same rule. You're still not allowed to forcefully move a player out of a position. They just modified how the referee calls it and left it up to the referee now to determine whether or not that's a foul. That's how we got to the physicality rule. Because there's no way you're going to tell me that Wilt Chamberlain is getting called for a foul for just posting up and doing a drop step dribble and turning and doing an up and under, that's an offensive foul, right? Because again, look, the guy's not forcefully doing nothing. He's just keeping his hands spaced wide open as a defender. But Wilt Chamberlain is using his body to forcefully move him out of his defensive position. And because of that, it's an offensive foul. So Wilt Chamberlain has to be either quick enough or more agile enough, or actually have the skill level to do something different. He cannot forcefully use his physical strength to put himself in a better position. That was illegal then. That's why they didn't have hand checking back then. They didn't need it. Jerry Lucas doesn't need to put a forearm on the back of Wilt Chamberlain, because Wilt Chamberlain cannot move him. He just has to stand behind Wilt Chamberlain. He just has to stand there, keep his arms up or out, widen his space if necessary, but that's it. He doesn't have to do no more, no less, and just has to stay in front of Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain has to figure out a way to get around him or over him. He cannot legitimately go through him. But it changed because once we got to the 80s, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and guys like Daryl Dawkins, look at this, look at the right there, the guys fighting for position. Look at Daryl Dawkins. Look what he does to Kareem. That's an offensive foul, but they don't call it then. Kareem has to fight for his position. Kareem has to hold his position for that to be called a foul. And it's the same thing here. We're going to get the same thing here. We're going to get plays where guys are trying to get into action. They're fighting for position. You can see the difference in physicality. You can look at it. It's glaring. And like I said, you see the jumpers. These guys are out here shooting jumpers left and right. But let's watch again Kareem. Now Kareem notices, okay, well, I got to get my space. They started giving the offensive player more ability to create his space. They started, mind you, the offense was already free to move. You already had freedom of movement. But now they started making it harder to play defense. No wonder why they were getting high scoring in the 80s. Because you couldn't play defense in the 80s. The game was changing. That was how the game became physical. The game got physical because after the 1977 NBA Finals, you can go look at it for yourself. Go and look at the Portland Trailblazers versus the Philadelphia 76ers 1977 NBA Finals. If you go look at those finals, you'll see the contrast between how the NBA and the ABA basketball style was completely two ways of playing, two different ways. The ABA was more free-flowing, more street style basketball, so there was a little bit more physicality allowed in the ABA, even though they still had the same kind of rules as the NBA. The physicality was basically because of the skill level and talent level of the ABA, right? But the NBA was a cleaner game, and you can see it with the Portland Trailblazers, with the way they ran their sets and their plays and how they played. It was just cleaner basketball. While they were playing against the Philadelphia 76ers, who added Dr. J and George McGinnis and some guys from the ABA, and they were playing a true freestyle of basketball from the ABA, and the NBA said, okay, well, look, to help slow down some of this stuff so that we can still keep the game clean, we'll allow a little bit of hand checking. And it didn't work well because after 1978, they decided to ban hand checking again and say, well, no, we can't let them hand checking because they saw that it was leading to fights because guys was using elbows. If you go to the 1978 NBA Finals, where it was the Washington Bullets versus, I believe, the Seattle Supersonics, you'll see a lot of guys now with their hands out in front and doing things that you couldn't do back in the days just basically 15 years earlier. Because Nate Barnett got called for a foul here when we watch it here, because he put his hands out. But you'll see more in 1978. From there on, you're starting to see the defenders being able to use their hands more, which then eventually allows the offensive players to try to create more of a space for themselves. So they allow the offensive player to jostle for a position or basically do what Magic did, which was run over the man. But let's look at Barnett right here. I think it's not Nate Barnett. I think it's Dick Barnett, if I'm correct, if that's his name. But you can see he fouls him by putting his hands out, because you're not allowed to put your hands out. You're not allowed to use your arms in any kind of way. That's enough for the ref to call a foul. You're pushing him. It's enough. You can't use that. But you'll see that change after 1977, after 1978. You'll see the different change in the game of basketball. And that's how the game became a physical game. It started with the 80s, because now you started having more of a physical game, where you started having more, guys like Kareem and like you see that guys like Daryl Dawkins and like this guy would say Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes and all of these guys, and then you got like Dan Issel coming into the league and all these ABA players like Artis Gilmore coming into the league. All these guys were dominant players in the ABA, but they came to the NBA and they changed the whole play style of how the NBA was. The NBA was a clean game of basketball. It was a clean game like we saw from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s to the 70s. It wasn't until the ABA joined with the NBA that the NBA decided to, okay, let's twist a little bit of these rules so that we could see a little bit of a different style of a game and let these guys finesse their way. They started even relaxing on dribbling rules, where now you wasn't considered palming if you put your hand on the side of the ball, so you could cross over the ball more. So guys now could do crossovers. Guys like Rick Barry complained that call traveling, call carry, because you guys are letting these guys get away with stuff we didn't get away with. So that's how the game was played. That's how the game was always been. Like I said, the game of basketball has never been a physical sport. It's always been a game of finesse. It's always been a non-contact sport. You're not allowed to physically, forcefully move anybody with your body in any kind of fashion. These are rules that eventually evolved to what it is. That's why I think today's game is so beautiful, because we have the best mixture of everything from athleticism to skill to the amount of physicality. Players are still physical in today's NBA. I know a lot of y'all don't think that, but it's true. They really are. So I'm going to put the link up if anybody want to join me. We can have a conversation about it, because from there we already know what we saw. If I show you 90s basketball, you're going to see the hand checking. You're going to see the forceful movements, all of this stuff. You're going to see guys jostling for position, wrestling to get to a spot. We know that happens. We know from the 80s on, that's basketball that we know it was, that we all think that eventually got ruled out for what we have for today. Even though today's players are still jostling for position. Guys are still fighting through screens. Right? Guys are still using their forearms and elbows, holding, grappling, jostling. It's still a physical game today. It's just more beautiful because these guys are more talented, more skills, and the ref are told to call the game more correctly. Don't allow for these type of movements. Don't allow for these type of actions to happen, because it's bad for the game. We can't have, because, yeah, I don't want to be elbowed all day because I'm running around to get open for a jump shot. That's nonsense. Like, if you want to elbow me, come on, man, because I'm running around you. Like, no, stand in front of me and play defense correctly. That's not defense. That's why when people say, oh, all I got to do is foul Stephen Curry. No, fouling Stephen Curry is not going to make him any worse of a shooter. Like, get out of here with that. So when you guys sit here and tell me that I don't know the game of basketball and I'm just sitting here just trying to, what y'all call glazed LeBron James or whatever. Nah, man, that's not what it is, man. It's about me being a basketball fan and understanding the game. If you can't appreciate none of those eras, you're not going to appreciate today's NBA. And that's the problem. There's a famous saying that if you don't know where you were before, you're not gonna know where you're going. You're definitely not gonna know where you're at, and that's true. If you don't know your history, you won't know where you stand at presently. And if you don't know where you stand at presently, you don't know where to move forward at. So it's very important to know your history, right? So if you're a basketball fan, it's very important to know the game of basketball. So that's the key to all of this. He say Mikhail clothesline Rambis before the bad boys. Yeah, they use that. They use the physical tactic. But again, wasn't that what Boston was known for, being a blue-collar city, a blue-collar basketball team? And the Lakers were known for being flashy, pretty guys, just running up and down the court, passing. And that was the difference, right, between what Boston was doing. But that Boston team from the 60s wasn't playing like that. That Boston team wasn't about physicality. They were about being quicker, faster, finding better position. That's what made Bill Russell one of the greatest players to ever play the game. His ability to play his position. If you guys get a chance to go back and watch the episode I did on Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, And that moment where Bill Russell says how he would guard Shaquille O'Neal, and he uses the idea of how I would go. He said I would make Shaq play horizontal as much as possible. And most people probably didn't understand what he meant by that. He was basically saying was I was always stay in front of him. As long as I'm in front of him, Shaq can't really do much. Shaq has to go around me. Now he's sticking in the sense of how when he played, but he's not realizing that if he played in the 90s, Shaq could back him down. So he wouldn't be able to prevent Shaq from playing vertical. Not to mention Shaq was very athletic as well. Shaq can get up and down the court. But he meant, but what he meant by saying I'll make Shaq go horizontal, he's basically saying I'm gonna make Shaq play side to side. Shaq is not gonna be able to get through me or around me. He's just gonna have to go side to side and do my best job of making him take the toughest shots he can take, which is what he was able to do to Wilt Chamberlain, because Wilt Chamberlain was not allowed to back down Bill Russell. So he thinks he can do a good job against Shaquille O'Neal as well, because that's how the game was played back then. But I got a couple people here in the background. Let me bring up a GOAT James Kingdom member. Shout out to you, Juan Boy. What's good, brother?
What's going on? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. What's good, man? You see what we talking here, man? We having a great show. We talking the game of basketball. What you got for me tonight?
Yeah, man, you all definitely talking a great show. That's why I'm glad to come up here and elaborate on the topic. Like, even from the first clip I mentioned, like, damn, that was some good ball movement. The fake pass going to the man going on the left, and then the man coming from the right wing for the backdoor screen. That's basketball. That's fluent ball movement. You know what I'm saying? And like you not to allude to your point, like, you can't lie with the footage, man. You can't lie.
Well, I said I was going to bring out the eye test. I said it, right? I said I was bringing out the eye test. I said I was bringing it out.
Yeah, man. And, you know, 1-on-1 is cool in certain situations, but ain't nothing like when everybody's involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't exert as much energy as you would trying to move without the ball as you move with the ball. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons a lot of guys get tired and, you know, they don't have legs or the win come playoff time, you know, because they want to do everything on their own. And, you know, you're not getting your teammates involved. That was pure basketball. And you see that more in today's game. And people want to use physicality as I wouldn't say as an excuse, as a reason to not mention the lack of mobility on defense back in the days when, you know, the game was running through the big men. Because that's what they were doing. They were banging, but you were also slowing it down, which is one of the reasons why Charles Barkley, they got a Charles Barkley rule. You're trying to back down for 94 feet. Cut it out, man. They put the rules in
the back and forth, right? I throw it to the big man. You double team me. He throw it back to me. He posts back up. I throw it back to him. 10, 12 seconds off the clock, and there's no real action. You got 3 dudes just standing there waiting to see what's about to happen. 6 dudes sitting there doing nothing.
Man. And you're not, and you're a primary scorer, but you're shorter. You know what I'm saying? You're going up against guys that's 6'9" and taller. That's longer. That's length that you have. You don't have the ball handling. You're trying to muscle everybody. That's because you don't lack the skill or the finesse. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? You got people mentioning that Giannis wasn't better than Barkley. How isn't he? He do the same thing Barkley do. What does Barkley do? What did Barkley do that Giannis don't do? He ain't play defense. Ain't Giannis a DOP?
I don't like those conversations because Giannis' career is not over and said and done with. I need to see what Giannis completes his career. Barkley's career is done. It's cemented. I don't know what Giannis is going to look like 5 years from now and all said and done. If he does have close to 5,000 points and 13,000 rebounds and all these great numbers and accolades and achievements that's already on his resume now. So he's going to keep adding to that. Yeah, by the end of his career, I think Giannis is going to end up being in my top 10 without a doubt, because the way he, especially now, the last 3 years, he's averaging 30 and 12 with 5 assists. He's killing it and 60% shooting. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous, and he's a physical specimen. On top of that, he's very physical. He's killing the NBA. So yeah, I hear you on that one, boy, on all of that, man. So again, though, you see the difference though. If Wilt Chamberlain was able to do what Giannis is doing, Wilt Chamberlain probably would average 100.
Yeah, but Wilt also had finesse because, like you showed in the clip, Wilt wasn't, like jostling for position, you know what I'm saying? But he had God-given, he had height, he had athleticism and a nice touch around the rim to go with that.
He was sweet with it. He was sweet with it. He had every move you need. He had a hook shot. He had a jumper. He had everything. Wilt Chamberlain had everything you needed to play the game of basketball, without a doubt. And he played in a very tough era, man. So I got a couple of people here in the background. Let me put you in the background. I'll bring you back up shortly. All right. I appreciate you on, boy. All right. Let me bring up Frank here. Thank you, Frank, for joining me here. As you can see, we talking the game of basketball like we do every Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm here. The chat line is open. The link is up. We got people joining the program. Thank you, Frank, for joining me. What you got for me on today's program, sir?
What's up, sir? Tonight, I just wanted to talk about if I could talk about the Lakers. Is that possible, sir?
Not tonight, sir. All this great information I'm providing you. Why do you want to talk about the Lakers? We talk about the Lakers on Sunday show. You can join us on a Sunday afternoon. Tonight's show is about the game of basketball. Did you see the 40s basketball? Did you see 40s basketball? Did you see how beautiful ball movement was made? Listen. Look at this, Frank. This is beautiful, Frank.
Basketball was originated in America
unmute
in
yourself,
1891
Frank.
and has taken tremendous
You can unmute
strides.
yourself, Frank. Look at this. This is
Study
beautiful.
of the basic skills involved and good teaching of basketball fundamentals have been largely responsible for its great popularity.
No, that's great basketball.
That's
Wonderful basketball.
Yeah.
Look at that.
One of the
Look at it.
most
Hook shot.
important of these fundamentals is ball handling. It
So
involves
look what it says
catching
about
the
ball
ball,
handling is.
holding it,
Catching it, holding it,
passing, faking,
passing,
painting,
Look at that.
dribbling the ball, and shooting.
Get that. Look at that. What?
This planned offensive action combines
That was basketball. That was the beauty of basketball. That's what made that sport so different.
No, but to your point now is about the game nowadays. Guys are just so skilled, man. Like bro, Giannis right now, he's not even talked about really, and this dude is going insane. Like I think this is his like 4th straight year of getting 30 points per game.
I think his third straight year. His third straight year. His third straight year at 30 and 30 and 12. Ridiculous. Only like 60% shooting. Monster.
And he's an absolute monster, killing the game. And he's just not even talked about because of Jokic and Shea now. And then there's LeBron, there's KD, there's Steph Curry, and there's Anthony Edwards. Like there's just so much talent nowadays in this league. The game has grown so much. It's really getting good nowadays. There's so much parity now in the league. Like, I don't see a clear-cut favorite to go win it all this year. I mean, right now, I'd say that my favorite is probably Denver because of Jokic and their experience, but there's still Boston. There's Cleveland. There's a lot of deep teams out there, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, and the good part is we still got 2-3 more months of this. We still got 2-3 more months of great basketball. In fact, there are some games going on right now. I forgot to put them up on the slate for y'all to check them out. Because my Heat has just been disappointing.
That Cavs game, bro, was crazy. It came down to the wire, and man.
So the Cavs lost tonight. Yeah, so the Cavs lost to Philadelphia 129-132. The Grizzlies get past the Pelicans 116-107. You got Charlotte right now facing Portland at home, but they're down 102-97. Oh no, that game just finished. They lost. Portland just beat Charlotte. And that's really it. Those were the only games on the slate tonight. Well, actually, no.
1-3 out of Dean Wade, and had Dean Wade gotten it, I would have won $675, and that motherfucker got hurt. God damn it.
Well, you need to go check out. You need to go check out Layup. Maybe you can get better pickups with Layup. You can definitely check out Layup, as y'all know. Layup is partnering up with FYF.
I just want to say thank you again for bringing me on the show. It's a great show, and I will be back here on Sunday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you again. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. And yes, like you said, keep telling people about the great basketball players in today's NBA because it's needed to be said. Thank you, sir, for joining me. So yeah, again, like I said, the game of basketball has always been a game of finesse. It's always been a game of agility, speed, quickness, teamwork. And that's why you always hear people like Scottie Pippen say it's a team game. Guys like Bill Russell always tell you, I play a team sport. Bill Russell always talked about how him and his teammates always got along, and they still got along well after they played the game, because he felt that was a part of it, because you had to fight and help one another and believe in one another, because you have so much that's going on the basketball court. One man alone can't do it at all. So that's what you saw. You saw fluid basketball, and you saw how the game became a physical game that we know of as it is today. It is all due to actually better skill, more talented players, and obviously the NBA altering some rules to allow obviously offensive players to get more position or better position, and obviously allowing defenders to help defend their position by also them being able to be more physical. And that's how you got the different rule changes that we see throughout the decades, not to mention adding the 3-point line, just changing all kind of other rules. Like, Rex came on the show the other day and he said something about the 3-for-2 free throws. I knew nothing about that. I did not know that there was a point in time in the NBA you were allowed to shoot 3 free throws to make 2 of them. There was a point in time if you fouled somebody, and they were allowed to go to the free throw line, and if they missed one of the 2 free throws, they were eligible for a 3rd free throw just to make 2. They changed that rule in 1980. They got rid of that rule. Crazy. I mean, these are stuff that, again, we don't know the history, because for one, like I always bring up the NFL, but the NFL had NFL films for a long time. So we got footages and ancient footage and documented interviews from ancient football players or from those guys from the past and how the game was back then. So football players and football fans have always understood the history of football based off NFL films alone. There's a whole archive in NFL films by that dude Steve Sable that he has a whole catalog of stuff of football from way back in the days. Those famous footage of Johnny Unitas and the Indianapolis Colts or the Baltimore Colts winning Super Bowls are all coming from those footages from that era. You see what I'm saying? So that's why football fans are so smart, but basketball fans, we don't have none of this. You know how difficult it is to find a game of basketball, to find any kind of thing about the game? And shout out to all those channels that I was able to find these platforms on. There was one called, I forgot the name now. I can't remember these names. I think it was called Sports Footage on YouTube. And there was another one called, oh my God, I should have wrote these names down. But still, it was all about the fact that the game is not available for you to know. ESPN doesn't care to tell you about it. The NBA does do a good job during the off season by showing you classic basketball games. They'll take you back to some games in the 70s, some games in the 60s that they have. But it just, in reality, there's just not enough good records as far as film of the game, right? And because the game went through so many different hands, I mean, the game in 47 or 1948, the NBA started, or the BAA and the NBL came together. They had like 17 teams. But by 1954, 55, it dwindled down to like 8 teams. So you can just imagine all the stuff that, you know what I'm saying, that could have been lost between that time, all these different teams, all these changes that's been going on. Then you go from those 8 teams to where you have it now, where it's 30 teams in the NBA. So you have this whole illustrious history of the game of basketball, but some of y'all just don't care for it. But let me bring up, I was going to say Ohio, but I guess it's not Ohio. I guess it's OO. What's good, bro, man? Thank you for... Yeah, man. Olo. Okay, thank you for joining me, man. It's the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. You see what we talking here. What you got for me for tonight's program?
Well, for one, I want to state that I'm also a LeBron guy. LeBron is the GOAT on my all-time list.
That's facts. Oh.
Yeah, so for the last couple of years, I want to say since 2022, there's been a lot of conversations of arguments between Wilt and Jokic.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you showing the film of Wilt. And I was gonna put in the chat, if you had any footage of Wilt's playmaking and screen setting and all of that stuff, because I think all that stuff needs to be talked about. I mean, we look at the.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
We look at the assist numbers between Wilt and Jokic and be like, oh well, Wilt could pass just like Jokic could, but it's like, could he really? like the context of the passes, the accuracy, and the situations that Wilt is getting these passes off in, or assists, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
has to be looked into. So
Yeah. I mean, it was again, it was similar to what Joker's doing. It's a lot of cut action. That's how Wilt got, players open. Because like I said, back then he could stand with the ball, right, and have the ball like this, and put the ball all around. Nobody can really reach it. Nobody can touch him. Nobody can move him out of the spot, right? He just has to stand there. And as a ball carrier, you move around him just like they do the dribble handoff now. You
right,
use him as a screener, right? And he just will dump it off to you, or dump it to this man, or make this pass here to open wide man, and that's how he got his assist. And he was easy to do that because he can pass. He knew how to move the ball. Remember, he played with the Harlem Globetrotters.
right.
So he knew
And
how to pass. He knew how he had very good ball skills, but he was very talented, very skilled. So that's why they say that. They say that he could have done all the things Joker is doing, for sure.
yeah, I definitely seen that when I looked up on YouTube and I watched some of the footage of Wilt's passes. I've seen that Wilt had the ability to make. I mean, people can criticize the competition or whatever they want to do. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
even do it. I'm guilty of that. But I've seen the context of the passes that Wilt is getting,
Uh-huh.
whereas guys cutting baseline and he's dropping off the scoop passes to the back cutters through the baseline. They're getting layups, or where he's
Mm.
just on the block and there's a guy open on the left elbow, and he's just throwing a little, little chest pass to him, and they're making the shot. But the only thing
Yeah.
that I haven't seen, which shouldn't really be penalized against Wilt because of the era that he played in, was the stuff that we see with Jokic with the skip passes and
Um.
the baseline skip passes and all that stuff, where he's on the left, he's catching it on the left block, and somebody's open in the opposite corner, and he's making that 23-foot, 24-foot
Yeah,
pass.
skip it to the corner, right? I see what you're saying. But like if we look here, right? Well, I don't know if this is the play where Wilt Chamberlain gets the ball. I don't think he gets the ball here on this play. But as you can see, when he does get the ball, they try to set it up. Like I said, you'll see guys running around him. Um, Let me see if I can find it. I think it's the other footage that I have. Let me just wait till we get to this and maybe on this part right here. And he was actually hurt this game. This game here, he had both his hand. One hand was broken, and the other wrist. He had a wrist issue. So no,
Wow.
this is not it right here. So let's see here. Let me see if I can see it here. So I think this is the play here. So they set it up here. Look, they call it for him here, and like I said, they'll set him up to get the post, right? He'll catch it. See, like he'll just stand there, and then with the action, you see guys cutting, he'll make the right
Yeah.
pass. Boom. See, like right there, he would make that pass. Like boom, right there, the guy's open. You see what I'm saying? And that's how
Yeah.
he would get his. That's how he would get his assists. It's stuff like, and they would do it at the free throw line. They could do it at the high block, the low block. You know what I'm saying? He could do that on anywhere of the court. That's why when they told him, well, yeah, you stopped scoring, but you're still not great at everything else. He was like, all right. Then the next year he won the assist title.
Mm-hmm. And the defensive part. So
Mhm.
I there's always, well, every time you get into a Jokic conversation, you be like, oh, who's better between him and Wilt? Well, people be like, well, he's not a shot blocker like Wilt is. It's kind of like similar to the argument
Yeah.
between Jokic and Giannis, or Jokic and Anthony Davis. And I'm like, is he really? Because I can see him blocking shots. You can see the highlights of him blocking shots. When you watch the games, it's like, was he really that? Does he really clear Jokic as a defensive player?
Well, yeah. That I would say because again, I got in trouble talking about Anthony Davis and Joker because I told them that I think Joker would
About the
help the
anchor
Lakers
thing.
being a defensive anchor, right?
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain was the ultimate defensive anchor. He was the ultimate defensive anchor. If we look at some of the footage that we're looking at here, I think if we let me bring up this one here. If you look at the action that the Knicks run, all right. So look, you see here, Wilt has the ball. He's looking for the pass. He's looking to make the pass. He's looking to see who's gonna cut. He's looking at the
Right.
defenders, and then he doesn't see nobody. It's his turn. He scores, right? And then watch the action that the Knicks run, and they put Wilt Chamberlain in. Now, obviously, like I said back then, it was easier to play defense to a certain degree because you didn't have to. The man couldn't run through you. So they're gonna. Oh no, this is when they called the offensive foul here. This is when they called the offensive foul. Let me see here. Is it the? Oh yeah, they called the offensive foul. I gotta try to see if I can move it forward. I can't really move it forward, but we're gonna
This
watch
was
this
the
play.
Which one was this? The
This is
70?
this is 19 this is 1972 NBA Finals. This is Game 5. The Lakers actually win
Okay,
this game and win their first NBA title as a Los Angeles Laker franchise. And
gotcha.
Will Chamberlain's first title and Jerry West's first title, and this is Will Chamberlain's second title. So let's watch what the Knicks do here. So this is what I was going to say. Watch how the defense of Wilt Chamberlain comes into play here and how he's an anchor because, again, he's going to communicate. He's going to tell those guys, I got this spot. Look, see, boom, I got this. Don't worry about this. You see? He's like, I'm covering this. And again, look, you got that. He pushed him there. He left that
Yeah,
man wide open. That's what Joker does right there. Joker does the same thing. You can take that shot. But when you come into the paint as a defensive anchor, you're not coming in here. Now, Joker's not a good rim protector. That's the difference between
right,
Joker, Wilt Chamberlain, and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis and Wilt Chamberlain are elite rim protectors. Like you're not coming in the paint thinking you're going to just get an easy shot over them or through them. They're going to block your
right,
shot. You know what I'm saying? But protecting the paint is another story. That's not the same thing as being a rim protector.
right.
And Wilt Chamberlain and Joker do good jobs at that. But nobody's better than Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest defender of all time to me.
Would he
Between
be
him and
better?
Bill Russell.
Would he
Mhm.
be better than guys like the Dream or Duncan and Dwight and so forth?
Yeah, all those guys. Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell by far. By far, man. Those guys were elite rim protectors. They protected the paint. They were agile enough to protect on the outside. Again, I got, Akeem, Ben Wallace, Duncan, Kareem. All of those guys are all elite defenders, all elite defensive anchors on top of that. Those guys were definite defensive anchors. Like that they would control the paint, help the whole defense. They'll hold down the whole defense. Like I tell them, a defensive anchor pulls everything together, holds everything down. And those guys are elite at that. And I think Joker is not elite at that, but I just think Joker does a better job than Anthony Davis at that. That's all.
Okay.
That's really it.
What would make Wilt the best defensive anchor? Like what line your criteria with his ability to anchor a defense?
Simple fact that he protects the paint. He protects the driving lanes. He protects the passing lanes. That's the key part of being a anchor because you have to know what driving lanes are open, what passing lanes are open, right? If the guy has to make a cross court pass, right? If you can keep your hands up, that's why you guys keep your hands active. Your hands have to be up and wide, right? To make it harder, right? So that it's not, you don't just give them an easy lane. You don't give them the easy vision to just see, oh, I can make this pass. You don't let them get to a certain spot because if they can get to this spot, they can make the pass. Or they can get to the shot. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a defensive anchor does. A defensive anchor makes sure everybody knows where weaknesses are at and where to funnel people so that they're funneled to more help. And I got I can cover so much space that you just have to funnel him here or funnel him there, and we're good. And obviously they protect the paint, which is protecting driving lanes and passing lanes, but they also can protect the rim. They are elite rim protectors. That means once everything else fails, once all this that we did, all this communication, all this talk about fun, when all that fails, at the end of the day, when they get past all that and come here, I gotta block a shot. I gotta send them somewhere else.
Right, which is
You see what I'm
also
saying?
why I always think about the fact that the paint defenders have a harder job than the perimeter defenders. Sometimes as a guy that hoops a little bit, I always thought that it was the other way around, whereas the perimeter defenders had the harder job because we had to do the work on the perimeter or even beyond the perimeter, like picking up full court, like in the press situation. We have to be active in that setting before we have to kind of stop the offensive player from getting to the back of the defense to the guy in the paint. So I always thought the other way around. But playing,
yeah, I mean, I can show you a clip. I can show you a clip that I played from our TikTok episode a couple of weeks ago. Let me pull this up right quick because I love to bring this play up because this is a perfect example of how you play defense in today versus skilled players, very athletic, agile, and very good ball handlers. This is a perfect play of watching Kobe defend Dwayne Wade, 94 feet.
Yeah.
And forces Dwayne Wade to travel. Like he legitimately forces Dwayne Wade to travel the ball. I'm waiting for the video to load up So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership because we do this every Friday night right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Also going live on our Facebook account and also our IG channel. And not to mention, we're going live on FYF Sports Debate. So we're making the best of a Friday night. Hopefully you're home, safe, warm, because I know that most of the country is frigid cold. It's cold down here in South Florida. So if it's cold in Florida and snowing in Florida, I know the rest of y'all are going through it. So hopefully you're home, safe, warm, and enjoying a great show right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. But let me show you Kobe, because again, this is going to be me showing guys about how great Kobe plays defense, because people always think you have to play hand checking or be physical to play defense. No, you have to be quick, agile, you keep your hands active and your feet moving.
He's making them work here. There's no doubt about it. Good stuff. More to shoot. And trap. And travel. Give Kobe a lot of credit. He stayed with all of the changing of the hands, the crossover. He played it beautifully, but most of all, he shaded him to an area where he was comfortable.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom. I'm the Exposer. Man, it's always great when Hubie Brown is commentating the game. But this post is about how y'all think being allowed to hand check is actually better defense. And Kobe shows you here that you don't have to hand check to play good defense. He shows you by moving his feet and keeping his hands active. Kobe Bryant literally shows y'all that today's NBA still plays defense. Let's look at this. I mean, he literally takes them from the beginning. Look at that. Hands active, feet active. If Kobe was deciding to put his hands on Dwayne Wade, lean and push, he would be out of position. He would be out of angle. Everybody knows to throw a punch. In boxing, you have to have your feet solid on the ground. Concrete feet cannot play good defense in basketball. This is good defense. This is how you play defense today. This is how they play defense today. Moving your feet, being active. Kobe Bryant showed y'all, man. Y'all getting exposed every time y'all say there's no defense, man. Y'all been exposed, y'all. I used to love my little TikTok rants on them little bum ass fools on TikTok talking bullshit. They did not know nothing, man. So like, again, like you said, bro, that's active hands, active feet movement, stand in front of your man, stand in front of the driving lanes, getting in good position. Because again, Dwayne Wade isn't allowed to move you out of your position neither, right? So Dwayne Wade has to be cautious, and he basically forced Dwayne Wade into a travel. Dwayne Wade was so flustered, he traveled. Like that's how great of a defense Kobe was playing on him, and there's nothing physical about that at all. That's clean basketball.
And you know, strength is also something that's important with defense, post defense, perimeter defense, especially on ball defense. Kobe's ability to use his chest to bump you to a certain direction. You got guys like Lou Dort. You had Sean Stevenson, Sean Marion, even LeBron in his heyday. That is important as well because, like you see with Max Christie, he needs to be in the weight. He needs to get in the weight room a little bit more. Not even just Max Christie, guys like Reeves, Dalton Connect, even Kyrie when he was younger. Now he's a little bit more stronger, but like when you getting bumped, when you know you can't stop somebody from getting to a certain spot. Like if I'm guarding you on the left wing, and you can get to that right elbow in one dribble maximum, and I already can't stop you from getting there. So when you bump my chest with that right shoulder, and I'm moving, and you could just create space with that one bump, one dribble, and one bump. That's not good. You can have all the footwork and the length. Your length and your wingspan could give you a backbone. It could protect you a little bit, but in some situations where you going up against scores with very good, very high quality, high volume shot touch, doesn't matter. Like guys like Devin Booker, guys like KD, Irvin, etc., Shea, doesn't matter. You know,
because like you said, because you got to be able to absorb that contact as well from the defender. You're right. It's so much that goes into the game as far as balance and positioning, and that's why the game is such an intricate game. That's why these dudes don't understand. There's a way to read. We know what I'm saying. When somebody tells you I already got my shoulder to your shoulder, that means I'm already past you. From there, you can't stop me. You see what I'm saying? You're not in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of nuances to the game that a lot of these guys don't recognize and don't realize. They think just the footwork is all the pivoting and turnaround jumpers, but it's more to just that. It's a lot of, like I said, it's just a lot of little simple nuances. There's little simple things. But again, the thing about today's NBA and what was allowed is, like you said, that you're allowed to use the physicalness to create that space, which wasn't really allowed when the game started. It wasn't allowed in the 70s. It wasn't allowed in the 60s. It wasn't allowed in the 50s. It started after the ABA, NBA, where they started to let guys jostle for position more and basically told defenders, you got to stand your position, you got to stand your ground, or it's a foul on you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And now it becomes, well, what referee I got tonight? Who's the ref I got tonight? Is he gonna let me? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna let us play? He's gonna let us play, or is he gonna call tic-tac fouls? You see what I'm saying? So you have the mixture of different referees, different players, depending on their mood.
All that
then
matters.
you end up, you get all the craziness. You get all that. Like, you can see how that opened up a Pandora's box of all kind of crazy stuff to happen on the basketball court. That's where you got guys elbowing each other for no reason. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to sneak and throw little shots at you. That's why that famous footage of Kareem getting elbowed is hilarious, because that guy knew it. Or I could elbow him here, and the ref would never know. And that's for that shot he threw back over there that the ref didn't call and didn't see. So I'm gonna get you back. So Kareem said, "Fuck it, we just might as well just fight. I'm gonna punch you in your shit." Kareem punched him dead in his shit.
Yeah. Now, have you gotten to the debate with Kobe's defense and Jordan's defense? And I was trying to get on the show yesterday. I was able to get on the show last night, but I came a little late, so I didn't get to join that conversation. But I've always, for the last decade, I've been saying that Kobe is a better defender than Jordan, because I'm a guy that I have a bias with on-ball defense. Like on-ball defense to me is more important than off-ball defense. That's just me. Like you can gamble for steals and all that stuff, but on-ball defense.
I grant it. Yeah. Jordan's roles would always be different than Kobe. Like I said, Jordan didn't have to guard the players Kobe had to guard. But I don't think Kobe really guarded the best players neither. I think majority of the time, when we look at the footage of Allen Iverson going off on the Lakers, it's not Kobe sticking him. Even when they're talking shit to one another in that one famous footage, Kobe's not guarding Allen Iverson. They got somebody else for Allen Iverson. But he did guard Ray Allen. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of guys. He did have to guard the real twos that existed in the NBA. So, I would say Kobe was probably the better defender just based off of the eye test. But obviously Michael Jordan has the resume that attaches to his legacy as a defender. But we all know Jordan wasn't that good of an on-ball defender. So if you actually value that more than the other stuff, then yeah, Kobe's a better defender than Mike.
When was LeBron's last good defensive year?
2021.
Because some people say
if you want to include his injury, because he was injured, but yeah, 2021.
2021, because he hasn't played defense in 10 years.
That's because they say he hasn't made an all defensive team in 10 years, but that has nothing to do with him not being a defender. He still played good defense.
They be like, LeBron hasn't showed no defense ever since 2014. Like, have you watched the bubble, the 2020 LeBron?
That's what I told him. In the bubble, matter of fact, 2020 LeBron, the whole season was good. And like I said, even in 2021, he got hurt in 2021. I think that was the groin injury season when he had the groin issue. He kept having the reoccurring groin injury.
That was the ankle. That was the ankle injury. 2019 was the groin.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think it reoccurred again in 2021, late in the season. But I think the foot injury was 2022, and that lingered on to 2023.
Yeah,
I remember people were saying that he had a tendon. That's when all the PED stuff started coming in, because they were saying, wait a minute, LeBron didn't have surgery on a ripped tendon. How the hell how is he recovered? Like, how are you recovering? You had a ripped tendon. Like, that takes surgery. That's what people were saying. But we don't know if he truly did have a torn tendon. We don't know. So, but this guy Mac Mall said here, Kobe. He said, "Hey Johnny, Kobe did guard Iverson in the finals. And that season it was tough. He did okay and got cooked some too. I hated Iverson too." He said, "I hate Iverson." Now, I'm not saying he never guarded him, but I'm just saying I don't think he was the primary defender to guard.
It wasn't the primary. He wasn't the primary defender. You had guys like Lou.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Fisher.
Fisher, but it was times that Iverson cooked Kobe too. I remember he hit him with a around the back joint, made Kobe touch earth. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, because Iverson was that dude. Iverson was that dude. He was quick. He could dribble. and he had that crossover, man. Even though he couldn't go left, he used to kill him every time with the crossover.
And he said he admitted that he didn't like to go left.
Yeah, because he couldn't really dribble that well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh no, he was. Yeah, I said. Oh no, he wasn't the primary defender. I'm saying he was matched up. On Kobe blocked like 2 of his shots. Yeah, I'm quite sure Kobe played some good defense on him because he's tall, and Iverson is trying to get to the lane. You can give Iverson that space. You know, when you're tall, Iverson's not that great of a perimeter shooter as is. So
it was
you know
a mutual thing. It was a mutual thing.
Now, but the problem is with players like him is like once Iverson gets hot, once a player gets hot, it don't matter what you do now. You done messed up. You done messed up. That's the thing.
There was the game. I remember there was a game in Philly where he was cooking. Iverson was cooking Fisher in the first half. They put Kobe on him. I think he hit like 2 field goals or something, or less than that in the second half when Kobe was on him. But Fisher can tire him out. And so now for the closing minutes of the game, now you got a taller, quicker, more athletic defender on you, and that'll wear a smaller, less a lighter Iverson out there. You know
it would eventually. But they had to put Tyronn Lue on him because they was realizing like, no, he's too quick, he's too fast. Derek Fisher couldn't stay with him, even though Derek Fisher's a solid defender as well. But yeah, I mean, I give Kobe his props for being a solid defender because I don't think Kobe was a horrible defender. I just didn't like the fact that sometimes he made the all defensive team over Dwayne Wade. I always thought Dwayne Wade was actually a better defender than Kobe. Because I used to see Dwayne Wade really shut people down.
I can agree.
Even on ball, it was the off ball and the on ball. On ball, Dwayne Wade was that dude, bro. Dwayne Wade would get up under you, and he was short. He'd get up under you. He'd make it hard for you. He'd make it difficult for you. So
and he meet you at the rim too.
Yeah, he'll meet you at the rim. That's the help defense. That's the help defense. That's the weak side defense.
But he's 6'4".
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
he was 6'4".
Yeah, I know. He was a very good weak side defender. Very good help defender.
But he was that goes into what you're saying about people being able to move. He was a great athlete. He was quick. He was strong. He had hops, and he had a great IQ for off the ball stuff, the steals and everything. But and he had long. But D Wade had long arms too for size. That all contributes to being a great defender.
Yeah,
quickness,
wingspan.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Athleticism, which Wade had a lot of that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's gonna be harder to get a pass off.
Yeah, I do check our Instagram every day. I think somebody sent us a message regarding that. I don't know if you were the same person that sent us the message regarding the player's choice, asking them to debate us. Again, I don't think player's choice has a debate like person. I think they do their own debates, and if they ever invite me on to do a debate for versus any one of their guys, I'm more than glad to do it. I had fun when I went over there the other day, even though they didn't like what I said about Anthony Davis. I still don't care what nobody say. I got footage of it. I can show it to you. In fact, I was going to make a video.
So that's nice footage.
Thank you. Matter of fact, the other night on FYF, shout out to Lamont. Lamont had a stream that went a little bit too long, and while it went long, we showed George. You know, George is a hater of GOAT James Kingdom to the max. We showed George how stupid he sounded when he was talking about 2-on-1 basketball and fast breaks, and we were showing him what that one man is responsible for doing as a defender. So they showed a clip of Draymond Green stopping a 3-on-1. Legitimately, Draymond Green stopped a 3-on-1 by himself. Last night, the Lakers had a 3-on-1 with Anthony Davis, and trust me, Boston scored the basket because Anthony Davis didn't do his job at all. He didn't do nothing that Lamont said that you're supposed to do as a defender in that position. Like, he legitimately just let the man, because he doesn't do a good job protecting passing lanes. Under that situation, you're not protecting the rim. You're protecting the passing lane enough to where you can give your guys enough time to run down the floor. Anthony Davis does not know what to do when you have him doing that. He doesn't know. He looks like a deer in headlights. He legitimately looked so stupid yesterday. It was hilarious. Yeah. Oh, so that was you, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, brother, man. Listen, keep putting them pressure on them people, man. Y'all don't be shy to be proud LeBron fans, man. Be a LeBron fan. They got a problem with you. Send them to GOAT James Kingdom.
Yeah,
send them to GOAT James Kingdom.
Anthony Davis has those possessions where he's just like, I call them dead possessions, where he's just standing there. Like I saw a few possessions, like when the Celtics was getting in transition, and Anthony Davis would be down there at the basket, and he'll just be standing there, and then Porzingis is getting an open layup, or Horford's getting an open layup. So he does have those dead possessions. And I used to say that it's because of the responsibility that he has offensively, but it's getting to the point where it's like I can't even really use that as an excuse anymore. Where he's
No,
just having dead possessions.
it's glaring. It's glaring, bro. I've seen it, and I noticed it last year with the Lakers. I'm like, yo, this dude Anthony Davis, and that even like I said, I made a video regarding the playoffs when Jamal Murray made that shot, and I was trying to explain to people, you don't let Jamal Murray get to that spot. No matter how difficult of a shot you think that is, Jamal Murray practices that shot. He practices getting to that spot,
tough shot maker.
taking it. Yeah. Granted, it was a tough shot. I'm not saying Anthony Davis didn't contest it. I'm saying that Anthony Davis didn't allow him. That's a part of protecting the driving lane. You have no help over here. You don't funnel him to the spot he wants to go to. You funnel him to a spot he doesn't want to go to. So he wants to take that 15 to 20 footer. Why don't you push him further out? You don't let him get that corner. He let him get around that corner to get that shot off. Like it was like, and I was like, yo, and it happened all the time. And what people don't understand, they know this. Mike Malone called that play because he knew he would have Anthony Davis on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray knew Anthony Davis was going to be there. He knew he can get to his spot. He knew Anthony Davis was going to stop him. Like they know all of these things. Because again, to be a good defensive anchor, you have to protect. Because like Rex said here, he says perimeter defense is more difficult than lane protection because your assignment will change according to game plan, right? Depends on what the team is doing. Exactly. Rim protection is essentially the same. You're at the rim. Everybody got to come to you. If you're just standing here waiting for everybody to come to you, you ain't got to do much, right? If you're a weak perimeter defender, it'll make, like he said, it can make hell for the rim protector, which is what's happening with Anthony Davis. The Lakers really don't have that many good perimeter defenders. So as a rim protector, he's going through hell. He has to protect the rim more than he should. But if he was a better defensive anchor, he wouldn't have to protect the rim as much. Which is why I say the Joker's better than him, because Joker's not as good as a rim protector, but the paint is still protected, which protects the rim to a certain degree.
Go, James. I'll tell you why somebody would contest that. If I was arguing against that, my rebuttal would be, well, it's like you can do it. It's been situations where you can do it. A lot of communication as a defensive anchor, be like, hey, screen left, screen right. Hey, just be able to navigate screens as a defensive anchor, and that your perimeter defender just doesn't. He's not good at fighting off of those screens. He's a light in the ass, like I call Reeves and Christie and those guys. They can't struggle to fight off those screens, and it's like it's always a two versus one situation. That's why they always attack Davis with those pick and rolls.
Anthony Davis got to communicate better. He's not communicating better. That's why I'm watching Gabe Vincent lose position. These guys don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they should be going under, who's the guard, what to do. They don't know what Anthony Davis is doing. And all Anthony Davis is doing is waiting to block a shot. He's not doing nothing else. He's not telling them what to do. He's not explaining nothing. He's not covering space. He's not doing crap. That's why they have to switch. That's easy communication. That's why they switch, because there's no communication. We're just switching. That's it. We have to switch. It's easy for Anthony Davis, easy for everybody. Elementary school shit for Anthony Davis, bum ass. Just tell you, the kid is dumb. The kid is dumb as a rocks. Anthony Davis doesn't look that intelligent. I mean, you guys see how he walks, how he talks. He doesn't look that intelligent. Shout out to the guy. I mean, he's a great basketball player, but I mean, we're talking about the game of basketball. Sometimes some people don't have it up here. Everything is based off of skill and talent and just natural reflex and muscle memory.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's logical too. But I see that, but I also see like the other side where it's just like these guys just cannot fight off the screens. Like they can't weave off of the screen. They don't know how to attach to the offensive player to make it hard for the offensive player to come off of the screen. Like you have guards today that's coming off of these screens very tight. Like Gary Harris, I think that's his name, for example. He comes off the screens very tight. Curry comes off the screens very tight. And we're not even talking about these level of guys. And Christie and Reeves and those guys, they still, and even Gabe, especially Gabe Vincent, he's probably the worst at coming off the screens. I've seen it even in Miami.
You gotta ask yourself, why are they screening Christie? Why are they screening Vincent? Because it's hard to get around those guys. I could have a better shot versus Anthony Davis. Think about that.
Yeah, right.
Think about that. Think about that. No, I mean, let's keep it real. When people say guys don't play defense, why do you think you try to get Joker on the perimeter, or these guys out there sticking some guard that can dribble in? Because they're not really that good as perimeter defenders, and they don't necessarily need to be, because again, they're big men. They don't have the agility. They're not going to move that quick compared to a guard, right? I get that, but the game is still about angles. It's still about position. You see what I'm trying to say? When Joker gets in that position, he just plays the drop coverage like he's supposed to. If you want to shoot that jumper, shoot it. Go ahead, shoot it. Go ahead, fuck it.
Yeah, but
because that's not the shot you want. You didn't run around the screen to shoot a 30-footer, a 27-footer most of the time. That's Stephen Curry. There's certain players they're not made to do that. You're not made to. If Darius Garland is running around the screen from Jared Allen, more than likely he's not set to shoot a 3-pointer. He can do it and he will do it, but more than likely they're trying to run their action. So I'm playing the driving lane, I'm playing the passing lane, making sure you don't see nothing that you're supposed to see. Now, maybe if you want to take that shot, take it if you really want to. That's what I'm saying. Like, people don't understand. Like, sometimes you have to pick and choose what you want on the defensive side. Those are strategies. The Lakers don't have that kind of strategy because Anthony Davis is not smart enough. You have to just say switch, Anthony Davis. Just switch it. Fuck it. Just switch.
Well, I saw Gabe Vincent on the island with Peyton Pritchard last night, and that boy shook that man out of his shoes. Gabe Vincent don't play no defense, man. He's definitely a horrible on-ball. No, I don't think. And then he's not.
He definitely competes though. He competes.
He does.
Listen, bro. We loved Gabe Vincent down here in Miami, bro. When I hear people talk bad, when I hear Laker fans and LeBron fans talk bad about Gabe Vincent, I'll be like, bro, we ain't had that issue with him.
Yeah, but you got to think.
We didn't have that issue with that man. That man was balling for us on both sides of the floor. I get why they hate him on offense. He be breaking on offense. He can't make a shot for nothing in the world.
But you got to think
he'd be missing. He's got a lot better. He's got a lot better throughout the season. But again,
yeah, he has. But that's gonna come with repetition. You got to remember, he missed most of the season his first year as a Laker. That's why he was shooting 16 for 70 for 3.
Listen, didn't Anthony Davis have Patrick Beverley just a few years ago? How great were the Laker defense then when he had Patrick Beverley? That's what I'm saying.
Pat Bev definitely made it easy for Anthony Davis, because I remember watching the games, that stretch where Anthony Davis went for like 35 and 15 without LeBron. Pat Bev fighting, weaving off those screens, recovering on the pick and roll, like if he was guarding Bogdanovich or somebody like that, and they came off the screen and they was going for that 15-footer. Pat Bev's ability to recover and be able to come from behind and deflect that or challenge that shot made Anthony Davis's life easier during that time.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And I feel like if you don't have that, it's kind of hard to,
No, again, for a rim protector, perimeter defenders are necessary. It helps you out. I'm a rim protector. As a defensive anchor, you don't need that. That's your job. You make them better. That's what people don't understand. When you're the right defensive anchor, the perimeter players are doing what they're supposed to be doing because you're telling them where to funnel the guys, what to do. You're communicating. That's the point. You're the coach on the floor, just like the point guard's the coach on the offensive side. Anthony Davis can't do that. That's why those guys look horrible. They look worse than they are. I'll wait till you get ready, P5. But they horrible, man. Like I said, Anthony Davis is an elite rim protector. He's a good defensive player. I wouldn't say he doesn't play no defense. I'm not saying he's horrible at defense. I'm saying he's horrible as an anchor. And they don't have no one to anchor their defense. They don't have no one to tell them where to be, how to be. Then you have, like you said, you have Max Christie out there, Austin Reeves, LeBron James. The only other defender they really got is Gabe Vincent and Ruri. And to a certain extent, Max Christie. That's the only reason Max Christie is on the floor, because he could play defense. You think Max Christie's on the floor because he can score or shoot or pass or rebound? He's on the floor to play defense. He's not a great defender, but he's the best thing that the Lakers got.
I think the best defenders that they have in terms of like perimeter defenders You got, I think,
Bring him,
Reddish.
Ishmael. Bring them all.
Yeah,
Bring them all.
yeah.
Again, this
Reddish.
Anthony Davis stuff, I'm running full speed with this, man. I got footage for days for Anthony Davis. Just like I got footage about basketball.
Yeah.
I got footage for days, bro. I've watched enough Laker games to know that, man, Anthony Davis is just a great rim protector. And today's NBA, that's not enough. That's not enough.
He's a little more, but I can feel you on the defensive anchor part, because I feel like you can be a great defender, but defensive anchor is a different story.
Never heard that Kim Olajuwon needs help. Never heard Mutombo needs help. I never heard Alonzo Mourning needs help. I never heard Dwight Howard need help.
Technically, Mutombo did. Technically, Mutombo did, because you had Aaron McKee, you had Roger Bell, even though he didn't play enough.
Mutombo was a great
that was that one year. You all those other years. What do you mean? He was in Denver, when he was in Atlanta. I mean, I know he had Mookie Blaylock, but he was still good.
Even in Houston, he was still a good rim protector.
Yeah,
he was a defensive anchor. He was a defensive anchor, controlling the paint. Not just, again, a defensive anchor controls the paint. So that means when you come in, like you see with Wemby or Rudy Gobert, they dribble into the paint. They don't get a shot off. They don't get a pass off. They got to dribble back out. You got to go back out.
Yeah, Gobert and
pass. Yeah, you're not making a pass. You're not making nothing here. You're going out, back out. You have to dribble back out. There's nothing happening here. Go over there.
I think Anthony Davis. Sorry, I interrupted you. My bad.
No, it's okay.
I think Anthony Davis individually is at worst a top 5 defender in the NBA. Am I crazy for saying that, John? Just so I can get.
No, you're not.
Just so I can get like a gauge of where we're at. I think individually, I don't like as anchors or defenders. I kind of group it individually. It's in the same thing. You kind of have it, separate. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Davis individually is a top 5 defender in the NBA. I think personally he's the second best.
Individually, as an individual, he's a top 5 big man. I would say I still have Bam, Wemby, and Gobert in front of him.
I have Wemby in front of him, and then you could argue me with Bam and Gobert. I think Bam, and as long as you have him in that group of 4 big, because I think those are the 4 top defenders in the NBA. Gobert,
as
Wemby,
individual
Bam,
defenders,
ED.
As
individuals, I think those are the top 5 or top 4. So as long as you have them in that group, I'm fine. I'll the Nick Claxton section of player, or like that group of top 10-ish defenders. That's a little too low. I think AD is certainly a top 5, but you're talking about him as an anchor and how he impacts his teammates and stuff like that. I get that.
That's completely different. That's what started the argument on player's choice, because the argument was me saying that he was just a defensive liability and explaining how he doesn't protect passing lanes and driving lanes, which is my key with him, and the bad communication. They asked me, well, who can I replace Anthony Davis for the Lakers to have better team defense?
You said Jokic.
And I said Jokic last though, but I named a bunch of players. I said Grudy, I said Bam, I said Wemby, I brought up Evan Mobley, I brought up Jared Allen, I brought up Giannis, and then I said to a certain degree, even Joker I think would play better defense, because I watch what Joker does on defense. I see it, and I'm like, yo, this dude controls the whole he controls the whole court on both sides of the floor. I've never seen it before for a guy as not as athletic as he is, as a guy that doesn't even look like he's trying. He doesn't even look like he tries, and he controls the game on both sides of the floor. I watch him play against my Heat.
When I return, because my grandpa called me in there, I'll be back. When I return, I'll respond to that. I'll be back, bro.
Okay, all right, go ahead, brother. That's just all my thing with Anthony Davis. Again, he's not as an individual defender, he's great, but that's not enough. That's not enough. That he's great at rebounding and blocking the shot. So he's going to protect your rim, he's going to get the rebounds, but when you're playing team defense like today's NBA, you have to be a little bit better, and he's just not.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
I said that's right. I said Bam Adebayo. I keep telling y'all, Bam, my team plays defense. But who you think's helping Bam? Jimmy hasn't been playing. Y'all just been watching what's going on in Miami. Y'all say, oh, he has Jimmy. Where? I thought Jimmy hasn't been playing. I thought Jimmy don't play enough for anybody to recognize anything he does. Now he plays enough to help Bam. He has Duncan Robinson. He has Duncan Robinson out there. He has Tyler Hero out there. He has Terry Rozier out there. He has Niko Jovic out there. He has Hayward Highsmith out there. Like, this is who he's running out here with. He had Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Caleb Martin. What are we talking about? And even though I think Caleb Martin's a solid defender, same way I think, obviously we know Jimmy's a real good defender, right? But again, he makes those guys better than what they are because he controls and dictates everything. You're not coming into the paint with Bam thinking you're just going to dribble it all around, do whatever you want. No, sir. That's not happening over here. Bam, Bam. Biscayne in June, bitch. He going to still win the championship. Fuck wrong with y'all. He said, look, AD's too slow. Again, he doesn't have to be fast. For what? It's about position. I can stay in front of you, and I'm long enough, and I got enough reach to give you the extra step that I need. But that's what I'm saying. AD, it doesn't matter how quick or agile Anthony Davis is. He's not smart enough to stay in front of the man. It doesn't matter. He's not smart. Rudy Gobert's smarter than him. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Well, would he just let Draymond
Yes,
ISO?
Wemby does get cooked in the pick and roll. I give you that. I'm not going to say Wemby makes mistakes, but he's in his second year. He's in his second NBA season. He's learning the game, and he's getting better game by game by game by game. And you see his effectiveness on the basketball court for that team. You see it. You can literally see how he affects them defensively. Y'all don't watch the games. Y'all don't watch Wemby play. When was the last time you decided to watch a Wemby
turns
game?
that team around defensively. Wemby definitely does that.
Yes,
not even
Wemby's
with just his length and size. It's just
look, playoff translation. I don't get playoff translation. Everybody plays better defense in the playoffs. So now, where's Austin Reeves' playoff translation? Where's Max Christie's? You don't know those numbers. Where was this Anthony Davis when Jamal Murray hit that jumper in his mouth? Where is he at? Where's Anthony Davis when they say we need somebody to guard Joker and they're putting really hard Chimera on Joker? I never saw the Heat say, "Oh, we're gonna take Kevin Love, or we're gonna put Jimmy Butler, or we're gonna put Niko Jovic on Joker." No, we put Bam on Joker, Rudy on Joker, Wemby on Joker. You don't need help when you're an elite defender.
But AD was also giving Joker 32.
Look, Braun on Joker. Even putting Braun on Joker. Come on, man. Even in the Olympics.
I think that's more of a strength thing. The reason why we don't want AD guarding Joker.
Anthony Davis did not cook Joker in 2020. Joker was being guarded by by Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard and a little bit
Anthony
AD.
Davis gives Joker the business, of course. Anthony Davis is a beast.
AD played help side most of that series.
Yeah, of course. Again, Joker's not athletic, he's not fleet-footed, but Joker plays defense. He defends
it's hard
the paint.
To knock him off his spot.
He defends the paint and he communicates. He communicates and he's strong. He has a good wingspan, he's strong and he's smart.
He's long.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's hard to score over somebody when you can't move them or you can't, or they're too long for you to get a shot over.
Exactly.
But yeah, Johnny.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, Johnny, that's the only reason why we don't want Jokic. I mean AD on Jokic and Sabonis, Sengun and
you got to. It's no, especially for Joker, because this is what you got to do with. See, the problem is with Anthony Davis on Joker is he doesn't stop the passing. So what is he going to do? Yeah, Joker may not score, right?
He can't stop the shooting.
No, forget this. Yeah, no, because that's what I'm saying. Joker on the perimeter, and he can't stop Joker from backing him down neither, right? He definitely, I told him, he's not that great of an elite post defender as well. So only thing he's going to do is protect the rim. That doesn't help against Joker.
That's why I want him on the weak side, though, Ajani. That's why
exactly.
I want him on the weak side.
But you can't stop the pass. So the pass still gets made and the shot still gets done because Anthony Davis will still be out of position because everybody's shuffling because we're sitting around here saying, well, only thing Anthony Davis can do is block a shot. So we got to make sure he's a roamer. And by him being a roamer, we all got to cover more space because he can't, your anchor's gone. That's it. He's not the anchor you need. He doesn't protect the driving lanes. He doesn't protect the passing lanes. That's a very, very important part of basketball, man. You got to protect the driving lanes and passing lanes. You can't just let a guy just see the whole floor and just pass wherever he wants to. Joker will kill you if you do that. Joker will kill you. Any good passer, any ball facilitator, you let them see the floor, you in trouble.
But I've seen AD disrupt passing lanes and driving lanes when he played weak side.
Oh, you know what's so funny that you say that, right? That's what Chilltown said, right? They clipped Chilltown and me having that discussion. And when you go on that Player's Choice video and you show all the clips of Anthony Davis that they showed in that particular video, it's available on their IG and available on their Twitter. You'll see them show like over a dozen Anthony Davis plays all at the rim. There's only one time they show Anthony Davis playing on the perimeter, and that was on, like I said, on a last-second shot versus Cade Cunningham, and he blocked the shot, But Cade Cunningham got the ball back and dribbled right past Anthony Davis and got to the rim. But like I said, Anthony Davis is an elite rim protector. He blocked his shot at the rim. But he still let the guy blow past him. He still let the guy like literally just go right past him.
But you talk about Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham ain't no bum though, man. Like that's Cade
No,
Cunningham.
I'm not saying that, but you still got to protect the
It's
lane. You still got to protect the driving lane.
I get what you're saying.
But it's also
Still got to protect it.
But also, you remember the series against the Grizzlies. He got the block on Ja to send the game in the overtime. The game against Steph, he got the stop. He got the stop on Steph to help win them the game in San Francisco. That was AD out on the perimeter. He's not going to do it every game, but you know what I'm saying. But he dominated the Memphis series just on defense alone. Show Jaren Jackson.
That's the same thing that y'all bring up. The Memphis series. The Memphis series.
And Johnny, I feel like Anthony Davis is more agile than you get credit for.
Yeah, because he didn't have to.
No, he's agile. He's very agile. He's very agile. Again, he's very agile, very athletic. As a big man,
yes,
he has all the attributes to be a great defender across the board. He has it.
Or the body.
He just don't got the intelligence. I'm gonna say the heart. He don't got the intelligence. I can measure somebody's intelligence. I can't measure his heart. He just don't have the intelligence. He don't have the intelligence. He's not that smart of a player. The man told you he don't pick up a basketball for 2 months out of the year. That lets you know enough about Anthony Davis. He's still begging for a big man. I've never been a big man in my life. Most of my times when I was successful, I was playing.
He's speaking facts.
He's crying like a bitch. Crying like a bitch.
He grew 8 inches from his junior year.
He's been a point guard most of his life.
And he's crying like a bitch. They didn't say Jared Jackson Jr. Jared Jackson Jr. What are we holding Jared Jackson Jr. to? How is Jared Jackson Jr. a barometer for greatness? Where do we ever hold Jared Jackson Jr. as somebody that could say, well, he held down Jared Jackson Jr.?
No, but how
did he stop Ja? Did he stop Dylan Brooks? Did he stop these guys from dribbling and going all over the basketball court? No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He told
y'all want to go get the film? Y'all want to get the film?
He stopped him at the ring.
Yeah, I see.
Y'all want to get the film? Should we do that? Should we go get the film? Y'all put 2 thumbs up in the comments if y'all want to see film of Anthony Davis supposedly balling on defensive side of the ball. Let me get Wiggins take here. Thank you for joining me. Again, this is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. We having fun here. Obviously, we were talking about playing defense in the 60s and 70s. Anthony Davis would be a great defender then. He wouldn't have to do nothing but just stand there and just block shots.
Yeah.
All right, we got Mon Wright say he want to see the footage. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining us and supporting us here in GOAT James Kingdom. We got some more people up in here. So what you got for me, Wiggins? What you got for us today?
Yeah, so what's the topic of 80s defense?
No, today's topic, sir, is about how the game of basketball was never physical. It was always a game of finesse. It was always a game of speed, agility, skill. And somewhere down the line, they decided to change rules to help offensive players and also help defensive players stick offensive players because the game just got too fast. The game got too much skill, too many guys doing too many things. So they started allowing for more hand checking, not more hand checking, but they actually started allowing hand checking and certain physicality that didn't exist prior to the NBA. So we were showing footages of the 1950s basketball. And again, don't look at the aesthetics. Don't look at the skill level and talent. Look at how they're playing the game. Look at whether they're being physical. Look at how they're being physical. What fouls are being called. How the refs are judging fouls. And as you can see, nobody's using their hands. Nobody's using their forearms. Nobody's bodying. Nobody's jostling for positions. Everybody's just running freely, trying to get to their spots. Ball movement, because that's the best way to get open, because you're trying to get up front of the defender. See the hook shot? Well, no, bad pass. We run down the court. When you got on Chuck Taylors, you got slippery feet.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So, but again, look at again, you can see, look, nobody's pushing nobody. Nobody's moving nobody out of place. Nobody's doing anything physical. It's all ball movement. I could have swore he was shooting that, but he was making a pass. Look, here you go. Hook shot, break. Here you go, one-legged free throw. That's cute.
Oh,
all right. But like you see, look, that's a foul. See, look, that was a foul because he was being too physical. You're pushing him with your arms. You're not allowed to do that. See, you're not allowed to do that. The defender's allowed to his position as well. You're not allowed to move him out of this spot. So you can't just back him down. You can't look. See, boom, look. Here we go. You hold, foul.
Okay, that was a foul. Yeah, that was a foul.
That was a foul. Yeah, that was a foul in that era. Look, here we go again. We go to the 60s. This is the 1963 NBA Finals here, ladies and gentlemen. Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers. Look at the defenders. Look at the offensive players. See? Ball action, ball movement. Look, Casey Jones can't put his hands on him, can't push him, can't shove him. See? It's all just ball movement. Now, watch what happens when you do decide to put your hands out and play aggressive on defense. Watch what they do. Watch what they call. Boom. That's a foul.
Yeah,
why are you doing that? Wasn't but that wasn't like a forced foul. He wasn't trying to do that. He was just being aggressive.
Yeah,
he was trying to stop. He was just trying to stop the pass.
KC was playing good defense on that shot too. He wasn't moving him or nothing. He stood in front of him. Dude just hit a good shot.
Exactly,
that was
exactly.
just a good shot.
Even if we get to the 70s, we watch this play here. Watch when Wilt Chamberlain catches this ball, Wiggins. He's not going to back down this man. He can't back down this man because that would be considered a foul. Watch, see, he's just going to stand there because that man doesn't have to do nothing. He doesn't have to put his arms on Wilt Chamberlain because Wilt Chamberlain cannot move him out of that position. He just has to stand in front of Wilt Chamberlain. That's it. See, look, active hands, right? Wide spaces. Look, you see how wide their hands are, how wide their feet are. That's how you play defense. Stay in front of your man, and you're allowed to have your space, right? Because if we go back to 1963, right, I'm gonna show you a play here after this free throw made here by Hyacinth. Right, you're gonna see the offensive players. You're gonna again, like I said, you're gonna see freedom of movement. Nobody's gonna be trying to stop you with their body or their hands or forearms. You got to play defense. You got to stay in front of your man. Look, see Bill Russell. Look, hook shot, get to the basket. See, look, you got to go around your man. Now watch this. Now watch this right here. Now watch what happens. This Sam Jones takes the ball to the rim, and they call offensive foul on Sam Jones because he's not allowed. That's an offensive foul because he's not allowed to move that defender out of his position. That defender has a right to his position. That's an offensive foul.
Yeah, there's no restricted area in the 60s.
The restrict area didn't exist till 1997. That's when they added the restrict era. And then, like I said, exactly. Look, and if we watch this, this is the 1973 finals. Watch what they call on Wilt Chamberlain. Watch what they call. Look, this is Wilt Chamberlain having the ball. Watch this play. Watch what they call on Wilt Chamberlain. Boom. They call an offensive foul on Wilt Chamberlain there. I know it's kind of grainy. Watch it again. Watch it here. Watch it here. See, boom. Wilt Chamberlain gets the ball.
Yeah, that bump there. They call
because the defender's allowed to his space. You're not allowed to move him out of his spot. That's why you don't have to hand check. That's why I don't have to use my arms. Look, hands wide, right? Hands up to defend when he takes the shot, but because he moves him out of his defensive spot with his body, that's an offensive foul. You're not allowed to do that. That's why he never backed down anybody. You didn't see Wilt Chamberlain do that stuff. You see him do fadeaways. You see him do the little finger rolls. He dribbles side to side.
So imagine if he could be physical.
He would average 70, like he said. I average 80. That's what he said. I would average 80. That's what he said. I would average easily 70, 80. That's what he said.
This is
Ajani, do you think he would still be able to get that layup off without committing an offensive foul if he did like an off arm and went around him and did like a finger roll around him?
Oh, you wouldn't stop him, Wilt Chamberlain. If he wanted to get real physical with you, there was no stopping him.
Yeah,
he decided to. Yeah, he was super strong. Wilt Chamberlain was super strong. Super strong. I think that offensive
foul. I think that offensive foul is not committed if he does the off arm. But
the reason it wasn't called because when he did the drop step, that's not what got it. It's when he tried to pivot into to face the rim. Once he did that, because I'm standing there, now you're moving me out of the way to get that position. That's an offensive foul. You forcefully moved me. We saw Shaq do that against David Robinson and dunk on him. And then they call a foul on Shaq. That famous play that Shaq does on David Robinson was the same thing. He spun to hit David Robinson. David Robinson fell back, and as David Robinson fell back, Shaq just leaped over and just dunked over him. That was it. There's no stopping me.
You can see that with a lot of Jordan and Dominique Wilkins highlights where they just jumping into the defender.
LeBron, how many highlights you see LeBron do exactly what you just see Sam Jones do, where he literally forces himself in a spin and the guy has to move back, and LeBron and you know what I'm saying, and they do that. They tell you. Remember that one play where he told Anthony Davis against Jared Jackson, he told him hit him with the shoulder and get him off balance, and then you can just shoot it right over him.
Yeah.
If you did that in the 60s, offensive foul.
Yep.
If you did it in the 70s, offensive foul. Let me show you how it changed. Because then you get to the 80s. Now you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has to now tussle for his spot. And the defender has to defend his position. To the point where now the referee feels, well, who's the person who's being more aggressive? Well, it's Caldwell Jones. Foul on you, Caldwell Jones. You're being too aggressive. You're not allowing him to get to his spot. Look at this. Wilt Chamberlain couldn't do this.
Look where his hands is at.
They let a lot go for a little bit.
Yeah, they did. They did because after the 76 merger, they decided to allow players to be a little bit more physical.
Thank goodness.
Mo Cheeks with the left.
Yeah, Mo Cheeks could dribble his behind off. He couldn't shoot. But watch, we're gonna get to the point. You remember that Sam Jones foul, Wiggins? Remember that Sam Jones foul, that offensive foul in the 60s? Watch what Magic does here. Watch what Magic does here. And that is now called a defensive foul, not an offensive foul.
Right. It looks the exact same.
It's the same exact play. Like you're right.
It's Johnny.
It's the same exact play. Look, Magic is going to legitimately force his way through, which is really an offensive foul. But because now they started allowing the physicality to happen for players to fight for position. So now what they said was, no, you're as a defender, if you're not really in your position, you're still moving, it's a foul on you. That's why now people say you have to stand still or stand there and take the charge. But if you're not standing there, if you're still moving, they call a foul on you. So you see how the evolution of the rules and the evolution of the game happened in a span of 10 years?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's why he said he would average 70.
Exactly. So, like I said, we go back to 80s basketball. You can see him being more physical. Look at the guy. Look at the guy stopping the guy from going around the screen. Look, here it is. Look. He's more physical with Kareem. Look at that.
Yeah. That's basketball. That? Yeah, I like that.
He said, I like that. That's what you grew up watching, though. If you were somebody who watched 60s basketball, you're not going to like this. That's why Wilt Chamberlain said I would average 70 in this era. I would score 60 in this era easily.
Yeah,
he's getting that all game. Wilt is getting it all game.
And the crazy thing is he didn't mention the physicality part. Like he be able to throw his shoulder or be able to bump guys off their defensive spots. Yeah. He didn't mention that.
Watch this. Watch what Kareem does. Watch. Look, Kareem's going to fight for his position. Look, and Dawkins has to hold his position, but by holding his position, they call the foul. See? Look, Kareem gets an advantage that Wilt Chamberlain didn't have. Or any center that played in the 60s.
And the crazy thing is, Wilt, he had him deep under the basket too. Kareem strong. Darryl Dawkins wasn't no light ass dude. Kareem was strong.
No. Yeah, not at all. Exactly, not at all.
Under the basket.
Let's see. Look, let's watch some more plays here. I think this is the one where they do the offensive foul where the guy runs through the screener or runs through the play. Yeah, this is it right here. Look, they run this play. They take the shot. No, this was the one where they take the shot. Right there, he takes the open shot. I think then they run the same play again, and then they're gonna call the offense. He said, ooh. But you see, look, this is 1972. This was 10 years prior to what we just watched. And again, you can see it's not that physical. It's just active hands. Look, you see, look, that ladies and gentlemen, that's Phil Jackson right there, ladies and gentlemen, that blocked that shot. That is Phil Jackson.
NBA champion Phil Jackson.
Absolutely.
Yep. Boom. Look, boom. Here we go. Here.
Hey.
See, there you go. See, right? Now. Hold on, wait. This is not the one where we do the play. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one here. It's on this play here. So watch. See, look, you're gonna have Wilt Chamberlain. Look, Wilt Chamberlain cannot back him down, but you can see he doesn't need to play. Look, he doesn't have to put his hands on Wilt Chamberlain because there's nothing Wilt Chamberlain could really do. So he just gotta keep his stance wide. Yeah, that's how Wilt Chamberlain used to score back in the days. That's how he scored 100 points, doing stuff like that. So let's watch this play. This is the play I was going to show you. So let's watch this play, right? Now, look, they're going to set up the same play. Now, watch the guy running around the screen. Now, watch this. Look, they call an offensive foul on that play. You see that? You see that him running over the defender? Let's watch it again. So he's going to run around the double screen, right? They're going to get the two guys to set the screen for him, and then they switch. And look, that little action.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was an offensive foul because he moved the man out of position forcefully.
Why Will got his hands
That's a foul
taped
today.
up?
I'm not gonna lie. That's a foul today. Even.
Why Will
It's rare. It's a
like
tic tac
that?
foul. It's a tic tac foul.
Will had hurt hands or something. He got both hands taped up.
Yeah, Wilt had a broken hand on one hand and a bad wrist on the other one.
Come on.
They would say he couldn't even grip. He couldn't grip the ball. Yeah, they say he couldn't grip the ball. And mind you, he won the Finals MVP.
Damn. With both hands.
With a broke hand, he had a broke hand and a messed up wrist.
Yo, this is what basketball. They don't talk about stuff like that, man. They don't mention that when they talk about he won Finals MVP with broke hands, or hurt hands or something. How good you gotta be to win the finals will hurt him.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all a question. If the game was really refereed and played the way the 50s was played, who would end up being the GOAT of basketball if everybody could play the game like this?
All the finesse players, like Jokic would probably kill, like even more, because like, it's just a finesse game, like super finesse at that point.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no 3-pointers here. Obviously, the paint is smaller. You can see the key. The paint is smaller. This is before they changed the rule because of miking. So you can see the paint looks like a key. It's a smaller paint. But again, this was basketball. It was a finesse sport. It was a game of agility, speed, and skill. It wasn't a game of contact, physicality of any kind. It was a game actually made to be the opposite of that. And this is an NBA game, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 1950s NBA game. Look at that 3-pointer he just shot. That was damn near 30 feet from the rim. So again, look at the offensive. Look, the offensive big man is not jostling for his position. He's just, that's it. He can't move that defender back. He has to just stay in front of him. Here we go. Get that out of here. What's wrong with you? Yeah, come up here with that nonsense.
That was a good bounce pass. That was a good bounce pass.
But that's how basketball was played, and that was tonight's program. That's what today's show was about, Wiggins. So, what do you think of the footage and the evolution of the physicality of basketball?
Yeah, I actually agree that basketball's always meant to be like a finesse game. It wasn't really meant to be physical, but they obviously over the later the years, let the guys, actually be physical, which I like. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something we got used to. It was nice to see players bang and do stuff like that. But you know what? I would like to see how Shaq would play if Shaq wasn't able to really back you down, right? If he had to really, I mean, we know Shaq had some skill. Shaq could dribble. Shaq was a finesse player. He did have the finesse. But because the NBA at that time was such a physical sport, nobody was telling Shaq, hey, be finessing, go out here and dominate with your physical presence. You know what I'm saying? And he did that. And we that's why some people say he's the most dominant player ever, but he was allowed to do that. That's why Wilt Chamberlain, like I said, if I go find that footage of what Wilt Chamberlain said he would average 190 in today's NBA if he was allowed to play in today's NBA, because he wasn't allowed to do that. He's like, I would have so much freedom. Oh my God. He said I would destroy today's NBA.
Yeah.
I would kill it.
Yeah, that was the interview with him and Bill Russell. Where Bill Russell was asking how would he guard Shaq or how would he play Shaq, and you said I'll make a move side to side, make Shaq moves laterally. Shaq couldn't move laterally.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's on the footage. When he was playing against Portland, one of the things that he struggled with was coming out to play Sheed and Arvydas Sabonis, because they were bigs that could hit perimeter shots. Shaq was a liability in that regard.
Yeah, but how would he be able to guard Shaq though? Like on the defensive end, like that's.
Oh, he couldn't. They were, but a team like Portland, they had size and length. They didn't have nobody that could bang, but they had a lot of bigs though. That's when they
Sabonis could bang a little bit, but he wasn't enough.
Yeah, he was the oldest rookie in NBA history. He was like 38. Rookie.
Then you have a lot of Divac. He couldn't do nothing with him. You had the Davis boys from Indiana.
Too small. Yeah, everybody was too small for Shaq. You know what I mean?
Even the ones that was big enough, they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't handle Shaq.
Yeah, exactly.
Sabonis was 7'3", 300 pounds.
And actually, I was looking at Shaq's stats in the NBA Finals against Hakeem. He actually played good and wasn't too much of a liability from the free throw line, but he just couldn't stay out of foul trouble. In them 4 games, he had 5 of them games, and 3 of the 4 games of that sweep, he had 5 fouls.
Because he was fucking the dream up on offense.
Because again, it was hard to guard Akeem, because Akeem was definitely Akeem could be physical and then he could be finessed, right? He could be both. He could have been both. Akeem was I can just imagine running into like Akeem Olajuwon or running into these guys. These like solid brick walls. If you're like, if they set a screen and you got to run through that, it must be crazy. But let's watch some more. Wilt
Chamberlain. Oh, how about that?
But if you look, you guys can unmute yourself. But you can see, look, you see how he's dribbling side to side?
to somebody going through the middle.
You see, look, dribble side to side, fade away.
Puts it in there.
Look, dribble side, fade away.
And dislodge people. That was not his game. And if you remember, the main point is 60% or more of Wilt's shots came on fadeaways.
Chamberlain is the greatest scoring machine the game has ever known. And he can score on you.
You see, look, there's no need to hand check. There's no need to be physical.
The fall away jumper. And he hits this repeatedly, despite good defense. That fall away jumper just cannot be stopped.
See, look,
the thing is,
when this giant walks out on the floor, the 76ers automatically have a great number of points.
He has it.
Unbelievable shot, Keith. If he gets that close to the basket, I don't see how anyone can stop him.
I think with his
off glass.
And you can see how it to a certain degree. They let people kind of lean on Wilt a little bit. You can see how they were still letting people lean on Wilt just a little bit. They were treating him like Shaq. Remember how Shaq, they used to let people get physical with Shaq and they wouldn't call fouls and you'd be like, damn, they fouling the shit out of Shaq.
But Shaq ain't had that. Shaq ain't had that in his bag.
Oh, nah, Shaq ain't had none.
He had the jump hook. He had the jump hook.
He had that 10-foot jump hook that looked.
He ain't had that shit.
He didn't have a fadeaway.
Nah, he didn't have that. He didn't have it like that. It wasn't sweet like that. He didn't have that. That was sweet.
Yeah, if Shaq had that, he might be the GOAT.
That was more Duncan-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Duncan had that bank shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but again, that's how the game was played. It was nothing physical. So imagine if Wilt Chamberlain could just back down all those guys and just dunk on them. Because he could just do that. He could literally take those 2-3 dribbles, back you down, and just dunk on you and keep it moving. What are you gonna do? You're gonna break your hand trying to stop him from dunking. He broke somebody's shoulder blocking their shot.
Shaq had counters too, though.
No, Shaq had moves. No, that's Shaq was.
Nobody's saying that.
Shaq game would have been different. That's the problem. We wouldn't have seen that massive 320-pound Shaq. He would have been slimmer and he would have been finessing it. He's like he said, he probably would have been like a Giannis coming down the court where who's going to stand in front of that? Who's going to stop Shaq? Who's going to try to, you know what I'm saying? Like who's going to stop the stand in front of Shaq? But again, if Shaq played in that era, he would have to really have those skills because he wouldn't be able to back down on Bill Russell. He would have to be able to dribble side to side and do exactly what Bill Russell said, play horizontal.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be able to play vertical. He's not gonna play vertical against me.
Yeah, that style of play would cater more to Joker or Embiid, guys that are more skilled to put the ball on the floor and shoot. You know what I mean? Make plays off the dribble with their back to the basket.
Well, how about this? How about this, Mike? I'll put the link up and you come explain to me how Anthony Davis is a better defender than Joker. And I can prove to you that first of all, I didn't say that. And secondly, I know how to talk the game of basketball better than anybody that you've listened to. So go run and get Mars, because that's all y'all got. I keep telling y'all, there's like 3 Jordan fans y'all really got that I respect. That's Mars, that's Low, and that's some guy on TikTok. Other than that, I don't respect none of you. That's really it. That's really it.
And Craig, y'all shout out to Craig, man.
No, Craig is different. Craig is an MJ delegate. He got his GOAT James Kingdom stripes. But people like Mike, they're idiots because, again, they don't know the game of basketball. I had this conversation with one of our GOAT James Kingdom members, which, again, we are going to be doing GOAT James Kingdom members. What do I call it? A GOAT James Kingdom member chat line or chat? Yeah, the NBA, the gala. I don't want to call it a gala. It was just something I was doing for promotion wise, but it's still, I guess it's a member chat. So we're going to be doing that every Monday night. I'll be putting the link in the membership for the community membership for all the GOAT James Kingdom members. And we were talking last week, and I was explaining to them how the GOAT debate kind of started with Wilt Chamberlain, because prior to that, everybody saw basketball as a team sport. So when you talked about the greatest players, you talked about the greatest team and the greatest player on those teams. So that's why Bill Russell or Mikan was mentioned, right? Because these were the greatest teams at the time because they were winning championships, and the greatest players on those teams were those guys. But there was no such thing as the GOAT as far as being an individual player till Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was so great and so dominant that you had to separate him from the team aspect of basketball. Like it was like, yeah, he's not winning, or he's not a great team player, or he's, the team aspect of it, we don't see it. But as a player, there's nobody better than him. He's the greatest player we've ever seen. So the GOAT debate started with the idea of the individual versus the team. And because Wilt was so great, he was just known as the GOAT because he was just better than everything that we've ever seen in basketball at that time. So by the time we get to the 90s and Michael Jordan, what we get is the idea of Michael Jordan being considered the greatest player. Because remember, he wasn't winning in the 80s, and everybody kept telling him, no, it's a team sport. You can't be Magic. You can't be Bird. They're team players. They play a team game. Jordan don't do that. So everybody was like, nah, Jordan got to be the GOAT. He got to be the GOAT. So that's when as soon as Jordan won, he got the GOAT title.
Yep.
So on an individual aspect, you were grading a player by being an individual, but then there was another way to grade a player, which was within a team concept, which is what Scotty keeps trying to explain to people. When we talk about team concept, all of that changes. But Mike showed up here, so let me put you gentlemen in the background so I can bring up Mike, and Mike and I can have a conversation. So Mike, you said you wanted to show how Joker is not a better defender than Anthony Davis. Can you explain how Anthony Davis is a better defender than Nikolai Jokic?
Bro, wait, am I up here?
You up here? It's you and I alone, one-on-one. So please explain to me how Anthony Davis is a better. Yes. What is
you
Anthony
and I
Davis?
both know. AD better rim protector, better just paint presence as a rim protector overall. Better on the perimeter.
Continue.
Do you disagree?
He's only good at the rim protection. Continue.
So he's not better on the perimeter, more versatile.
No, he has more agility. He's more athletic than Joker.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he can.
Doesn't matter if you're
guard
agile.
on the perimeter better.
He can't. He doesn't do that well at all. He can't. He cannot do it.
He's better than Jokic.
He cannot do it. Jokic doesn't have to go out there. Jokic plays better defense. He protects the paint. I don't have to go out there. The reason Anthony Davis is out there because Anthony Davis can't protect the paint.
In the paint when you just said AD's the better paint presence and rim protector.
He's the better rim protector. That protecting the paint has more to do with than protecting the rim. He's an elite rim protector. Anthony Davis is. That's all he's good at. He's good at rebounding and he's good at rim protection.
Nothing on defense.
Jokic is an elite paint protector. He protects the paint, meaning that when you dribble into the paint, you don't get a shot off like that. He doesn't. He's not going to block. True. He's not going to block. It is true. It is true. That's why Joker's anchored top 10 defenses more than Anthony Davis has.
Well, I don't really know stats, but
again, no. If you want to go off of it, what your eye test says, agility and ability, yeah, Anthony Davis is an individual defender better than Joker. But in today's NBA, you got to be able to play team defense, which is what the concept of the conversation I was having on PC was about, playing team defense.
But when it comes to team defense, AD, we already know as a rim protector, rim protection is probably the most valuable part of defense.
No, it's not. It's communication is.
But I'm just saying, like, defending the paint mostly is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, as an individual. Yeah, if you're just doing it as an individual, that's why I say he's a liability for the Lakers, because he only individually controls the basket. Other than that, he doesn't do nothing else. He doesn't protect the paint.
So are you saying Jokic is a better communicator?
That was the conversation. Yes, way better communicator, way smarter on defense. That's why the Denver Nuggets doesn't get caught in those same situations that the Lakers get caught in, because they're not going to force Joker to go stick somebody in the perimeter, because Joker can communicate better to stop the weaknesses that come from a pick and roll screen. Anthony Davis can't do that. He's not smart enough to communicate, so they tell him switch. That's very easy to do. Just switch. Because he has to communicate and tell the guys where to be and where to funnel players to.
But the Lakers
he doesn't do a good job at that.
Do you think that's coaching? Because the Lakers just switch everything anyway.
That 3 different coaches have to decide that strategy, because they realize Anthony Davis is not that smart. You don't have, again, that's what your defensive anchor is, the coach on the floor. Anthony Davis can't be a coach on the floor. He can't do it. LeBron is too old to do it as well. LeBron can't do it as well. LeBron communicates.
Even if you think Jokic is a better communicator, his ability just to be a vertical threat is just not there.
No, I agree with you. He has no athleticism of any kind. He can't jump. He has no vertical. He has no agility skill. None of those.
Clears him to the point where it's not even close in that department. He can guard on the perimeter better one-on-one. He's more agile, more athletic.
No, I don't think Anthony Davis can guard on the perimeter at all. I think they're both a liability on the perimeter. But the difference is Joker's smart enough to not put himself in that position. Anthony Davis isn't. Even when you put Anthony Davis in that position, he gets blown by all the time. Trust me. And he doesn't stop the passing.
I don't think he just gets blown by.
Oh, he gets blown by. I got footage, brother. Go to our GOAT James Kingdom channel, right? If you go back a few videos, there's it was recently, because when they came to Miami, they played
were
my
these just like cherry pick clips or stuff?
No, how cherry? There's no cherry picking clips. Listen, even on the PC channel, they went and got some clips. All they showed Anthony Davis doing was blocking shots at the rim, which is what I said he does at an elite level. That he could do. When you get to the rim and you trying to score at the rim, Anthony Davis is one of the best guys at doing it, if not the
Jokic
best.
is not good at that. So
that's
you
true. No, I get you
Jokic,
that, but Jokic don't let you. Jokic doesn't let you get to the rim because he protects the paint. You can't drive there. He knows he stops your driving lane, so you can't get to that spot. You have to be a Ja Morant. You have to get over him. You have to be able to be athletic enough to get over him because you're not going to be strong enough to bulldoze him. So you have to be quick enough to get around him or go over him. That's why he's better because he protects the paint. He protects passing lanes. You get in, and when you get into that paint, Joker makes you dribble out. You have to dribble back out. That's what you want your defensive anchor to do.
I don't know. I just disagree. But
I get it. I get it. You're not the only person. Trust me, bro. I've been arguing this now for a couple of weeks now on Go James Kingdom show and everything. I've took all the barrages, but I'm Ajani the Exposer. I can handle this because I know what I'm talking about. As you can see,
now what I'll give
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think Anthony Davis is a good perimeter defender, and I don't think he's a good against the driving lanes and passing lanes. Those are his liabilities for me, and those are big liabilities.
Now Jokic,
as a defensive anchor.
He does keep his hands active. He is in the passing lanes and stuff, but
of course, almost 2 steals a game.
Yeah, I just heard that earlier today. I didn't know he was averaging that many steals, but yeah, he gets in the passing lanes. Now the communication, AD, I think he's okay. Jokic he probably a little better in that sense, but I just think his disability as a not just one-on-one, but as a rim protector.
Oh yeah, he's an elite rim protector. I can tell you right now, the only guy that I can say is a better rim protector in today's NBA besides Anthony Davis is probably Wiggy.
But and another thing is they get switched on to a perimeter player, say off a pick and roll or something. Do you trust AD or Jokic more out there?
I don't trust them both. That's why that was the conversation. But the difference is that Joker don't put himself in that position. Like I said, he makes sure that doesn't happen. So he communicates with the other players so that that's not a liability. You guys got to get out there. Like he tells them how to get out there. He explains, you got to go over the screen or you got to come here. I got this guy here. He communicates so it's easier. And the good thing about it is, or like Lo was saying, that they give up some shots in those positions, right? Because sometimes they give up a three or they give up a perimeter shot or open shot. But in reality, most teams are not trying to take that shot. They're getting the screen to either get Joker to switch or to get the driving lane. And Joker's not giving it to you. So you're still stuck out there. Go out there and do what you got to do. That's good defense. That's why that's why again I watched them.
But I just think they just have better team defense in terms of just their players overall.
Low try to tell us that Christian Braun and what's that dude's name? Was some dude named Dewasty was better defend. No, I told him Peyton Watson was a solid defender. That I give him that. He was a solid defender. But when he had KCP and Aaron Gordon, which was healthy last year, top 10 defense. The year before that, top 10 defense. I think in 2021 they had a top 10 defense, and in 2020 they had a top 10 defense. The last 4 out of the last 6 years, they had a top 10 defense. Joker's anchoring that. And all the defensive metrics say he's a great defender on top of it, which makes it even more crazy. When you go look at the stats, you're like, damn, Joker actually does play defense. But when you, like you said, when you look at him, there's no way he plays good defense. You just look at him like, there's no way this guy can play good defense. He definitely can't stay in front of nobody.
He plays okay defense, but
like I said, in the paint, he controls the paint. That's what I'm saying. In that paint, he's a beast. He's a monster. He just ain't gonna block your shot because he can't jump. He can't really he don't have the athleticism to do that shit. But he'll contest you. He'll contest it and make it tough for you, which is all you can ask.
So you don't think AD gets in the passing lanes?
No. Oh, that's my pet peeve with Anthony Davis, bro. He never has his hands up. He always has his hands down. He's never active.
You know what? That's true. That is true. But
yeah, I know. I'm trying. I know you know what I'm talking about, Mike. I know you know what I'm talking about.
That's true.
Bro.
That's true.
That's it. But again, he's an elite rim protector. He's an elite rebounder, which makes him a good defender, a very good defender. Because those two aspects alone, and his athleticism and agility, and those things make him a very good defender.
That's what I value.
My problem is that you still need a defensive anchor, just like on the offensive side. You still need a ball facilitator. You still need one guy that can control your offense, tell you guys where to go, what play we're running, who's doing what, who's hot, who's not hot. You need that on offense, and the same thing on defense. You need somebody communicating, telling guys where to be, where to funnel players, where they should go, where's the weak spots, what players being run, what screen is coming, what's happening. That has to be communicated. You know how they were, before I let you go, remember those jokes that they say about Kevin Garnett where he would walk up to a player and pull on their jersey and be like, yo, who is this? Does anybody know who this is? And he would call players sweet. Shumpert said something that was very smart. He said at first he thought that Kevin Garnett was just being very disrespectful. But in reality, what Kevin Garnett was doing was communicating to his team about what was going on the court. So he was using players and making fun of them to tell them, this, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about him. The play ain't coming this way. He ain't got nothing to do with nothing. This is sweet right here for us. So don't worry about him. You see what I'm trying to say? So he's communicating with everybody, letting them know what's going on the basketball court. So that's what an anchor does.
In 2020, I don't know the stats, but I think the Lakers had one of the better defenses in the league, right? When they won the
Yeah, and 2020, 2020 and 2021.
Do you
but
think AD was a good anchor that year?
No, because they had Dwight Howard. That's why they needed Dwight Howard versus Joker. That's why they were good defense. And they had good.
They had Caruso. They had KCP. They had Rondo.
Danny Green.
A.V. Brad.
Yeah,
and do you think that year?
Yeah, no, because he didn't. Hold on, wait. Mike, hold on, wait. Let me answer Mike. He didn't need to be, because with those type of players, you don't have to communicate as much. You understand, Mike? When you have a Caruso, a KCP, and these guys on the floor, LeBron at an elite level defensively, you don't really have to communicate that much. Everybody's already knowing what they should do. So him being the roamer elite rim protector made it even better for the Lakers. You see what I'm trying to say? So that's why they were elite. Again, because like I said, he is that dude. I keep telling people, I don't hate Anthony Davis, but I just see little things that I just think that today's NBA doesn't fit him well. If he played in the 90s, the greatest defender of all time. I'm not gonna lie. He would average 6 blocks per game in the 90s. All those idiots in the 90s that kept going back up for shots after they got it blocked twice, he would have a bunch of games like that. For real.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree, but
he said TJ K's right on this one. Hey Lamont, stop agreeing with me because they think I'm paying you. But yeah, man, like I said, Mike, I appreciate it, Mike, though. Like I said, I talk the game of basketball, bro. The problem with me is that I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm not allowed to have my opinion. So it is my opinion that Joker would do a better job than Anthony Davis, and I'm allowed to get ripped for it. I can tell, I accept all challenges, and as long as you're willing to talk, though, don't say use a glazer and start talking to me like I don't know how to talk, because that's when you get the exposure. That's when the exposure come out.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Yeah, we cool. All right, but hey, Mike, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and like I said, go check out my Anthony Davis videos. And I am not cherry picking. I went straight to NBA site and I went to find the game highlights, and all I saw was Anthony Davis fucking up on defense, left and right. We look so good. Miami sucks on offense. We have one of the worst offenses in basketball. But I wish we could play the Lakers at least 6 times a year, because we look great against the Lakers, because they can suck defensively. The Lakers have a horrible defense.
Yeah, that's a perimeter defense.
I think it's the perimeter defense that fucks it up too.
No, they have bad perimeter defenders. They don't have no solid perimeter defender, right? Even I like Ruri a lot because he has the agility and he has that length. Because I think Ruri's like what, 6'8", right?
Yeah,
6'8", 6'9", yeah.
Yeah, right. So he has.
But his lateral movement is shit though.
Yeah, no, he's not an elite defender. You see what I'm trying to say? He's just a solid defender. He's serviceable. You're not gonna attack him on. Put it like this: you're not gonna attack him on offense. You're not gonna design a play that's okay. We're gonna go at Ruri Chimura, Hachimura. We're not doing that. Like again, you're gonna go after Austin. You're gonna go after D'Angelo Russell. You're gonna go after the weaker guys. You're gonna bring Anthony Davis out if they're stupid enough to let Anthony Davis play on the perimeter, right? You that stupid? Okay, let's bring him out here.
But you got to think, Rui has the size in the build in the left and at least a little bit of the athleticism to be a better defender than what he is.
He does,
but that lateral movement just holds him back.
No, but they're asking him to be a primary defender. That's what I'm saying. They're asking him to do something he just can't do.
Yeah,
he's not a primary defender. He's just a good defender, a solid defender. So now Vando is a primary defender. Vando's the type of guy you say you're sticking Curry tonight. The other night you're sticking Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, somebody like a Finney Smith. Once he gets accoladed. But Finney Smith is going to look stupid because Finney Smith's going to be like, well, damn, nobody communicating. Like, nobody telling me what I'm supposed to be doing.
He does look good with Anthony Davis, though.
They're going to get better. They're going to get better. They're going to get better. Like JJ Redick said.
Jackson Hayes is getting a little bit better.
Jackson Hayes is reckless.
Just a little
that
bit.
Dude is reckless.
Just a little bit.
That dude is.
He only looks good with AD.
I'm not overhyping it. I'm not overhyping it like he about to be an all-star and all that. Nah, I'm definitely not doing that.
I was watching the 82 finals and the 83 finals, and I was watching Kurt Rambis play. I swear for Lord, Jackson Hayes and Kurt Rambis are the same players. Those are wild dudes, bro. They were some wild dudes, bro.
Kurt Rambis wasn't dunking through the legs.
Nah, he wasn't. But I remember watching the game, and Bill Russell was the commentator, and Bill Russell says, "You don't know." He's like, "You don't know what to do with Kurt Rambis." He says, "Nobody knows what he does well. That's the problem with sticking Kurt Rambis. You don't know what he does well.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, right?
You don't even know if he does anything well. He just out there just doing whatever he does." Oh, look. That's what I tell people. Look, Kessler's a great rim protector too, but nobody gonna call him that. He averaged 3 blocks per game. He's second in the NBA.
Yeah,
Jackson Hayes is horrible, man. So, but I'm about to get ready up out of here, man. Any last words? Let's get some last words. Let's start with you, Juan Boy, since you're a GOAT James Kingdom member. You got any last words for all these Zesty Jeffries and all these fake basketball fans that don't watch the game, but on YouTube every day?
Yeah, great. Just a great show, man. Just to give them a little bit basketball knowledge, so they can't always throw in your face. Oh, it's always supposed to be physical. No, because that's not how the game started from the beginning. You know what I mean? And it's clear evidence that the game wasn't physical. So you could contribute a lot of the players in the physical era for benefiting from the game being physical and not finesse. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Always, bro. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, y'all check out Juan Boy. Juan Boy out here getting suspended and striked on Facebook accounts all over the place. Just like me, we're not allowed to post on any other basketball group because we praise LeBron too much. So shout out to you, Juan Boy. Let them know. Again, y'all got any smoke with anybody that's a LeBron fan, send them to GOAT James Kingdom. All right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we just basketball fans, man. That's it.
That's it, man. We love it. We love it. And LeBron keep dunking on people. So let's get let's get your last words before we get up out of here, Olo. Before we get up out of here, please, brother.
Yeah, you know what? Scottie Pippen in '94, and then you got Kyrie Irving without LeBron, period, except for with Luka. That's all I gotta say.
Damn. I wish Luka come back, man. I miss Luka. Luka used to give me some great nights of basketball, man. Oh, look, Lamont said he won, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Lamont. Yeah. He choked away a big lead. Lamont, you got to work on that, Lamont. All right, stop making them 10-hour streams and start working on some more better game plans.
Yes, sir.
Nah, good job, Lamont, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, man. Let me answer Mike's questions. Hey, GOAT James Kingdom, do you think KD has a case to be in the top 10? I mean, top 5 all time. Not right now, and I probably don't think he could pass it because again, you guys know I got MJ 5th, so I don't really see KD passing MJ on my top 5 list, but he definitely will make the top 10. I will definitely say that. Yeah, man, Kevin Durant's a brilliant player, man. He had a great career. I think he should crack some people's top 5, especially the people that don't appreciate players from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, because some people don't have Wilt or Russell in their top 5. So if you got someone like Akeem Olajuwon in your top 5, Tim Duncan in your top 5, to a certain degree, you might have Kevin Durant or Magic Johnson, people like that. If you got those type of guys in your top 5, yeah, Kevin Durant could be better than those guys by the time he finishes his career. He got another All-Star selection starter. You know what I'm saying? He's going to reach 30,000 points, maybe 33, 34,000 points. He might pass Kobe. If he passes Kobe in points, yeah, he has a really good chance. So. All right, so Wiggins, any last words, man? Are you there, Wiggins? You got yourself muted.
Shea for MVP, man. That's the final word.
Shea for MVP. I like that. I thought he was the MVP last year. They should have gave it to him. Uh-oh, we got Debo in the building. Debo is in the building, y'all. We end this stream before he start trouble. What you got on my 40, homie? Shout out to Casual. Y'all make sure to follow Casual's channels. He has several channels. He has Vanity Sports. He also has Take Debates. Definitely make sure you follow him and support what he does as they do great things. You can also find those gentlemen on Discord all the time talking the game of basketball, talking sports, talking everything. He says dunking over KD forever. Yeah, I knew that one would get to you. I knew that one would get you upset. I knew that one would get you upset, man. Definitely, man. Much love and respect to you, brother. You keep doing your thing, man. I like to see content creators grow and do their thing. Shout out to you, Rex, man. Thank you, Rex, for all the information you've helped me out with. And also thanks to Casual, because this show kind of led to the conversation that I had with Casual and Rex about the game of basketball. Casual was the one that showed me the 1973 finals where they called that offensive foul on Wilt Chamberlain, which I was like, yo, I can't believe they called a foul on Wilt. Like, he was just trying to get his shot off. But again, ladies and gentlemen, the game of basketball is a game of finesse. So I'll drop you gentlemen and I'll get you guys up out of here. Thank you, Wiggins. Thank you, Olo, for joining me. Thank you, Juan Boy. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, P5, for being a part of the panel. It was a great show. Again, it was actually, again, it was a great opportunity to show you guys the evolution of the physicality of the game and how the 80s really was the catalyst, or the late 70s going into the 80s was the catalyst of the physical basketball that we see, where we had big men banging in the paint. We had some hand checking going on. We got guys, like you said, no more freedom of movement, no more you just running around screens and you're not getting tapped with an elbow here and there. These were the things that changed during the ABA NBA merger. They just started allowing certain fouls, certain rules to be changed. That was just the game. And again, it's still a beautiful game no matter what. It was beautiful in the 60s. It was beautiful in the 70s. It was beautiful in the 90s. It was beautiful, obviously, in today's NBA. All these games were beautiful at their times, but we just have to understand. And once we understand where we came from as basketball fans and where basketball came from, then we can understand why we're here where we're at right now and why the game will continue to push forward as it is doing right now, and how it's going to continue to be a beautiful game to watch and be a part of. So again, tonight's show was just about the physicality of the game. You know, I was just showing you guys, we were just talking about the Wilt Chamberlain foul. This is the 1973, NBA Finals. And what you see here is Wilt Chamberlain posting up, and he does a dribble step. He does a dribble, he does drop step there. He tries to pivot into his shot, and they call an offensive foul because he basically moved the defender out of his position. The defender has a right to stand there. As you can see, Jerry Lucas has his hands active, and he's standing and holding his ground. And because Wilt Chamberlain is forcefully moving him out of his position, that's considered an offensive foul. That's how the game was played back then, ladies and gentlemen. You were not allowed to do that as an offensive player. You were not allowed to do that. Even here, if we go to the 1960s and we look at the game the way it was played then, we'll watch this here originally because it's the play after this. We'll watch the first play. But as you can see, you're not going to see any tussling for positioning or jostling for position by anybody. Everybody has a right to their space, including the defender. So you have to go around the defender. As you can see, Jerry West has to dribble around Tom Sanders. He can't go through Tom Sanders. And you can see here, as Sam Jones tries to go through this defender, they call an offensive foul, because he's not allowed to forcefully move the man with his body, arms, any kind of way. That is not the way the game is meant to be played. So that was an offensive foul on Sam Jones. But if we get to the 80s and we look at the way the game is played now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Caldwell Jones are jostling and fighting for position. And the ref is physically watching it happen, and then he decides who's fouling or not fouling, depending on who's being too aggressive or not. So they call a defensive foul there because obviously Caldwell Jones is he's trying his best because he's trying to hold his position. They're allowing Kareem to back him down. They're allowing Kareem to move him out of his spot. So he's trying to hold his spot. And that's how the game was played until the 80s, until the late 70s into the 80s. Now you have this style of basketball. Obviously players are more athletic. They're more skilled. So it's going to be a little bit more physical, right? But the game was called differently. The rules are different. Watch Magic Johnson come up the floor and get the defensive call, because now they're changing it. They're saying he's allowed to have that space and that defender's not allowed to take it away without being in the spot first. So now Tony gets called for a foul that would have never got called on in 1960s. This is good defense by Tony. But again, they're changing the way the game is played. They're allowing more physicality. They're saying now as a defender, you have to physically hold your stance. No longer are you just able to just stand there or just move alongside the guy. You physically have to hold your position. If you're not doing that, then it could be a foul called on you. So that's where the game changed. And in 1977, after the 77 season, the NBA allowed for hand checking as long as it wasn't impeding the progress of a player. Then they changed the rule in 1978 and said, okay, we're not going to allow hand checking anymore. It's going to be a little bit more strict, but it was still left on the referee to decide whether or not they were hand checking. And if that hand checking was physically forcing the player out of his spot or position, which would be a foul, which led to more fights, which led to more physical play, which led to what people thought was the greatest basketball era ever. But we all know that's not true. The greatest basketball is today's NBA, and it will never change. So that was what tonight's program was about. So I hope you guys got a good idea of understanding of what the game is and what it's all about. I'll play this last clip from the 1940s to show you how the game was truly played and how it was started as far as the NBA goes. This is a 1946 clip, them showing you basketball. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another great Friday night exposure with the Exposer. You guys have a great Friday night. Peace and blessings. Y'all make sure to catch us on Sunday afternoon show where Brandon and I will be doing the GOAT James Kingdom show every Sunday noon Eastern time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Also streaming live on the FYF platform. Again, if you are not a GOAT James Kingdom member, check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the ring notification to let them know when we're going live. Because again, this is what we do here on the GOAT James Kingdom platform. This is the Friday night exposure with the Exposer. I do this every Friday night, and I'm glad to be here with you guys, and I'm glad that we had a great show. Thank you for joining me. Y'all have a great Friday night. You have now been exposed by the Exposer.
Basketball was originated in America in 1891 and has taken tremendous strides. Careful study of the basic skills involved and good teaching of basketball fundamentals have been largely responsible for its great popularity. One of the most important of these fundamentals is ball handling. It involves catching the ball, holding it, passing, faking, feinting, dribbling the ball, and shooting. This planned offensive action combines all these skills and shows the effectiveness of good ball handling. The man with the ball, number 8, fakes to number 34, but passes to number 12. 8 cuts by him, screening the play. 12 bounces the ball once and passes to 34, who fakes a return pass, but instead gives the ball to number 8 for a shot at the basket.
If you're a basketball fan and you're tired of basketball shows that talk about fake narratives and using non-basketball terms like killer instinct, playoff translation, gravity, come to GOAT James Kingdom.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. You get to enjoy VV and Ajani talk basketball every Sunday noon Eastern time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Support by subscribing and also check out the membership at GOAT James Kingdom.